Leonardo da Vinci, the dreamer of Florence. Leonardo was born on a soft spring morning in the small hill town of Vinci, Italy. His mother, Caterina, was a peasant woman, and his father, Ser Piero, was a respected notary in the city of Florence. Leonardo was born out of wedlock, a fact that would shadow his early life but never limit the boundless reach of his imagination. As a child, Leonardo was quiet and observant. He spent hours in the meadows and forests around Vinci, watching the way birds flew in graceful arcs across the sky, or how the river's currents played in gentle swirls. He would gather small pebbles, feathers, and leaves, storing them in his pockets like precious treasures. His mind was a sponge, soaking up every detail of the world with a curiosity that never slept. When he was 14, his father recognized the boy's gift and sent him to Florence, to the workshop of the master Verrocchio. There, Leonardo's days were filled with the scent of wet clay and freshly mixed pigments, and the sound of chisels tapping at marble. He learned to draw, to sculpt, and to paint under the watchful eyes of masters. But even then, he felt that there was more to art than technique. He wanted to capture the living soul of things, the breath of the wind, the flicker of a candle, the secret smile of a stranger. As he grew, Leonardo's talent was undeniable. He painted softly and with patience, coaxing life from wood panels and plaster walls. His enunciation glowed with light, and his sketches of anatomy and flying machines seemed to come from dreams yet to be lived. Florence recognized him as a true master, and his fame grew with every brushstroke. But for Leonardo, life was never a straight line. He moved restlessly, driven by the thrill of discovery. He worked in Milan for Ludovico Sforza, crafting statues and grand festival designs, painting portraits that captured not just faces, but the essence of the soul. His early works were celebrated, and people spoke of him as a genius, though he preferred the simple pleasures of the workshop, where the quiet scratch of charcoal on paper felt like a secret shared only with the universe. For a time there was hope and promise. Leonardo's notebooks filled with pages of swirling water studies and delicate plant drawings. He designed weapons of war, but also imagined how a man might fly like a bird. His patrons praised him, and the city's salons whispered of his brilliance. Leonardo's days were rich with colour and invention, and his nights were spent gazing at the stars, sketching endless possibilities. But the turning point came slowly, a quiet shift in his life. The world grew darker wars, shifting alliances, and betrayals among the powerful men he served. In Milan, the French invaded, and his patron Ludovico fell from power. Leonardo found himself adrift, a painter in a world of soldiers and kings. His commissions dwindled, and his notebooks became filled with half-finished sketches, as if his restless mind could never settle long enough to complete a single thought. The years of corruption and terror that followed weighed heavily on Leonardo. He wandered from court to court, seeking patronage that would give him the freedom to dream. Yet often, those who promised him gold and honour only gave him silence and disappointment. His mind, once so filled with light, became a place of shadows. He saw the cruelty of men, the greed and violence that twisted noble ideals into tragedy. In his secret notebooks, he sketched not just beauty, but also the engines of destruction cannons, armoured vehicles, and monstrous contraptions born of dark imaginings. Yet even in these times, Leonardo's spirit never fully turned to despair. He would pause in the corridors of palaces to watch the play of light on marble floors, to sketch the gentle curl of a child's hair. His art, even in the hardest days, spoke of a world that was tender and alive. His final years were quiet, spent in France at the court of King Francis I. The king admired him greatly, treating him not just as an artist, but as a friend and wise counsellor. In these last days, Leonardo found a measure of peace. He walked slowly through the gardens of Amboise, breathing in the scent of roses and damp earth, letting his mind drift like the river below the chateau. He died there, in a small chamber filled with light, his sketches and paintings scattered like fallen leaves around him. Some say the king himself had his hand in those final moments, though no one can say for certain. All that remains is the quiet mystery of a life spent in pursuit of beauty. Leonardo's legacy, though, lives on in every brushstroke that dares to dream, in every mind that sees beyond what is to what could be. He's a symbol of possibility, a testament to the power of curiosity and wonder. For centuries people have looked upon his Mona Lisa and felt that smile ripple through time, a reminder that even the most fleeting glimpse of mystery can change the world. Tonight, as you rest, think of Leonardo, the boy who wandered the hills of Vinci, the painter who saw the soul in everything. Let his gentle curiosity guide you into a world of soft dreams, where the rivers flow clear and the stars whisper secrets only the night can hear. Sleep well, dear dreamer. May the spirit of Leonardo carry you gently into a world of endless wonder. As you close your eyes tonight, let the lessons of Leonardo carry you gently into a world of dreams. Sleep well, dear traveller of history. Sweet dreams. Michelangelo Buonarroti, the sculptor of stone and dreams. Michelangelo was born on a gentle morning in the hill town of Caprese, surrounded by the quiet breath of olive groves and the distant echo of church bells. His father, Lodovico, held a modest position as a magistrate, while his mother, Francesca, offered a warm lap and lullabies that wove comfort into his early days. But when he was only 6, his mother passed away, leaving a tender emptiness in his heart that would echo throughout his life. In the tender days of his boyhood, Michelangelo found solace in the stonecutter's yard of Settignano, where his family sent him to live. The marble dust seemed to glow in the morning light, and he would run his small fingers over rough blocks, feeling the silent promise of figures still sleeping within. The chisel's gentle ringing was like a lullaby, a melody that stirred something deep in his soul, a sense that these cold stones could speak if only he would listen closely enough. As he grew older, Florence called to him like a bright dream. He apprenticed in the workshop of the painter Ghirlandaio, where he learned the careful craft of frescoes and the delicate blending of pigments. But it was always the weight of marble, the patient silence of stone that drew his heart. Lorenzo de' Medici, the Magnificent, saw in him a spark of genius and took him into his glittering court. For a while, the boy from Caprese walked among poets and philosophers, his days bathed in candlelight and the scent of fresh plaster. The rise of Michelangelo was as swift as it was certain. He carved the Battle of the Centaurs with the young man's fury, and the Madonna of the Stairs with the tender hope of one who still believed in grace. Florence sang his name in the soft glow of evening, and for a brief moment the world seemed to open its arms to him. But even as his early work shone, a turning point loomed on the horizon. The weight of expectation pressed heavily on Michelangelo's shoulders. Commissions from powerful patrons demanded more than he wished to give, and his restless perfectionism became both his strength and his torment. He argued with patrons, refused compromise, and worked until his hands were raw and his body bent from endless labour. He felt both the burden and the blessing of his gift, as if each stroke of the chisel carved away a piece of his own soul. When Pope Julius II summoned him to Rome, Michelangelo bristled at the idea of painting the Sistine Chapel ceiling. He saw himself as a sculptor, not a painter, but the Pope's command was inescapable. So he climbed the wooden scaffold and looked up at the empty vault, feeling the vast silence above him like a cathedral of dreams yet to be spoken. For 4 long years he toiled alone, his face flecked with paint and his body aching from the strain. The ceiling became a sky filled with stories, the creation of Adam, the prophets, the Sibyls, a tapestry of humanity's yearning and God's quiet hand. By night he slept fitfully, dreaming of swirling forms and the patient silence of stone. By day he breathed life into the plaster, each stroke a prayer, each figure a testament to the boundless reach of imagination. This period of relentless work brought both triumph and torment. Michelangelo's health suffered, his spirit grew weary, and yet he could not stop. He was consumed by the need to finish what he had begun, to bring the figures of his mind into the world no matter the cost. Friends worried for his fragile body and troubled mind, but he brushed aside their concerns. In his solitude he spoke only to the marble and to the vaulted sky of the Sistine Chapel. As the years of war and corruption crept across Italy, Michelangelo saw the darkness in men's hearts. He watched as greed and violence twisted even the noblest of dreams, and yet he carved his David a figure of pure defiance, standing tall against the giants of the world. In his Pieta, he carved the Virgin's sorrow with such tenderness that it seemed almost to heal his own childhood grief. His later years were marked by an aching solitude. In Rome he returned to the marble, chiselling away at rough blocks as if in those silent conversations he could find the peace that eluded him. He said that every statue already lived within the stone, waiting for release. Perhaps he saw himself in those figures forever struggling to break free of the heavy weight of duty and doubt. When the end finally came, Michelangelo was in his small room in Rome, the air heavy with the scent of oil paints and the hush of marble dust. He passed quietly, his hands still calloused from the years of labour, his mind perhaps dreaming of the Sistine ceiling, where even in sleep his figures would continue to reach out to the divine. Michelangelo's legacy lives on in the gentle curve of a shoulder, the proud tilt of a chin in every work of art that dares to capture the soul of the world. He remains a symbol of patient strength and quiet defiance, a testament to the way art can give voice to the heart's deepest yearnings. Tonight, as you close your eyes, think of Michelangelo, the boy who played among the marble dust of Settignano, the man who painted the heavens from a wooden scaffold. Let the soft weight of his story cradle you, and let the quiet promise of stone guide you into gentle dreams. As you close your eyes tonight, let the calm strength of Michelangelo carry you into a world of tender sleep. Rest well, dear dreamer, and let the marble dreams of history hold you softly through the night. Raphael Sanzio, the painter of grace and light. Raphael was born in the quiet town of Urbino, surrounded by gentle hills and the soft warmth of the Italian sun. His father, Giovanni Santi, was a respected painter at the court of Urbino, a man who saw the world through colours and brushstrokes, while his mother, Magia, was a quiet, tender presence who filled their home with love. From his earliest days, Raphael was wrapped in the soft whispers of art and poetry, the smell of fresh paint mingling with the scent of blooming flowers outside their windows. As a child, Raphael was curious and kind, spending hours watching his father work on frescoes, fascinated by how flat walls came alive with stories and light. But life showed its fragility early. His mother passed away when he was very young, and just 2 years later his father also died. Left alone at the tender age of 11, Raphael's world suddenly grew quiet, but within that silence a new voice began to stir, his own found in the gentle strokes of a paintbrush. Raphael was taken in by his father's apprentices, and soon he found himself studying under the painter Pietro Perugino. In Perugino's workshop, the boy learned the delicate art of balance, how to blend colours like soft melodies, how to capture a serene smile or the peaceful gaze of a saint. The smell of oil paints and the quiet rhythm of brushes became a lullaby to his restless soul. Even in these early days, Raphael's paintings seemed to glow with a special warmth, a light that reached out gently to those who looked. As Raphael grew, his talent blossomed. His paintings were filled with grace, calm, and a tender beauty. Nobles and clergy from cities near and far began to seek his work. His Madonnas, paintings of the Virgin Mary holding the infant Jesus, were unlike any others. They held a soft, radiant glow, a perfect harmony between mother and child that seemed to soothe the spirit. His art did not shout or demand attention. Instead, it whispered, inviting the viewer into a quiet world of peace and love. Florence became Raphael's next home, where he mingled with the great masters Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo. While Leonardo painted with mysterious shadows and Michelangelo sculpted powerful giants from stone, Raphael's gift was different, a gift of harmony and balance. His compositions were like gentle songs, his figures softly smiling, his colours glowing like the dawn. His studio soon filled with eager apprentices, and his days passed in a peaceful rhythm of creation. But life, as it always does, brought change. Pope Julius II called Raphael to Rome, the centre of power and grandeur, a place where ambition soared as high as the ancient pillars. The Pope wanted Raphael to decorate the Vatican's private chambers with frescoes walls that would tell stories of knowledge, faith, and divine order. Raphael stepped into this challenge with both excitement and a quiet determination. For years, Raphael worked tirelessly. Days blurred into nights, lit by flickering candlelight. He painted scenes from classical philosophy, history, and sacred scripture. The pressure was immense, and though his hands grew tired and his body weary, his brush never wavered. Every figure he created seemed to breathe with life, a balance of strength and gentleness, passion and calm. The frescoes became a window into a world where beauty and wisdom met, and where the soul might find rest. Yet the weight of expectation was heavy on Raphael's heart. The demands of patrons and the complexities of court life often shadowed his gentle nature. Rumours and jealousies whispered in the halls, but Raphael remained focused on his art, using it as a refuge and a place to express the deepest parts of the soul. Even as his health began to wane under the strain of endless work, he never allowed the softness in his paintings to fade. Each Madonna's serene gaze, each peaceful face, was a reflection of his own hope for a world at peace. Then, as suddenly as a gentle spring rain, Raphael's life came to an end. At the age of just 37, in the full bloom of his talent, his heart quietly gave out. It was Good Friday, a day heavy with meaning and reflection. Rome mourned deeply for the painter whose art had brought such light and calmness to their world. His funeral was held in the ancient Pantheon, a temple built to honour all gods, a fitting resting place for a man who had painted the divine with such gentle hands. Raphael's legacy did not end with his passing. His paintings live on in museums and churches, where millions still feel the soft power of his art. His Madonnas continue to offer comfort to weary souls, their gentle smiles like a warm blanket on a cold night. His harmony and balance remind us that, even in a world filled with turmoil, there is always a place for grace, beauty, and peace. Tonight, as you lie down to sleep, imagine Raphael's brush moving slowly across a blank canvas, each stroke a soft whisper of light. Picture the gentle faces he painted, their eyes calm and full of quiet understanding. Let the warmth of his colours wrap around you like a soft quilt, soothing your mind and easing your breath. Close your eyes now and allow the tender spirit of Raphael's art to carry you gently into dreams filled with peace and delight. Sleep well, dear traveller of history and dreams, and rest softly under the calm glow of his timeless grace. Sandro Botticelli, the dreamer of flowing hair and ocean breezes. In the gentle city of Florence, cradled by the soft hills of Tuscany, a boy named Alessandro Filippeppi was born into a world filled with promise and quiet beauty. It was the mid-15th century, a time when the air itself seemed to hum with the first tender notes of the Renaissance, an age of art, poetry, and discovery. Alessandro's family was modest but kind, with his father a skilled goldsmith who shaped precious metals into delicate, shining objects. From his earliest days, young Alessandro was wrapped in warmth and light. The laughter of his siblings echoed through their small home, and the soft murmur of the Arno River outside mingled with the gentle clatter of daily life. As a child, Sandro, his childhood name, was enchanted by the world's small wonders. He noticed how sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting dancing shadows on the stone walls. He watched how the women's hair would catch the breeze, flowing like water, and how the folds of fabric moved as if alive. His father's workshop was filled with glittering treasures, golden chains, tiny flowers shaped from silver, and Alessandro learned early the magic of turning something simple into something beautiful. The shimmering surfaces, the curves and curls of precious metal, whispered to him like a secret language only he could understand. But more than anything, Sandro loved stories, tales of gods and goddesses, heroes and love. His imagination bloomed like a garden in spring, and soon his hands began to paint what his heart dreamed. He apprenticed with Filippo Lippi, a gentle and wise master whose paintings glowed with tenderness and light. In Lippi's studio, Sandro learned the soft art of layering colour, of blending shadows and highlights until figures seemed to breathe softly on the walls and panels. Each face he painted carried a quiet emotion, a story whispered with every curve of a cheek or curl of a lip. Sandro's rise was steady, gentle, and full of promise. His paintings were unlike those of his peers. They did not shout or demand attention, but invited the viewer into a world where time slowed and worries melted away. His figures, especially the women, were known for their flowing hair, long and curling like waves on a calm sea, and the delicate movement of their robes, caught in invisible breezes. His most famous work, The Birth of Venus, captures this perfectly. The goddess Venus rises softly from the ocean's foam, her hair floating like tendrils of seaweed in a tender current, her skin glowing with the light of dawn. It is as if Botticelli caught the very essence of a gentle breeze and poured it onto canvas. In Florence's courts and chapels, Botticelli's art became beloved for its dreamlike beauty. Patrons sought his work to grace their walls, to inspire peace and reflection. His Madonnas, the tender depictions of the Virgin Mary, were suffused with warmth and grace, their faces serene and calm. Walking through his paintings was like stepping into a quiet garden at dawn, where every detail, the curve of a smile, the shimmer of a flower, whispers peace. But the world outside Botticelli's studio was changing. The city of Florence, once radiant with the light of art and culture, began to feel the shadows of unrest. The powerful Medici family, who had been both protectors and patrons, faced political storms. At the same time, the fiery preacher Girolamo Savonarola rose in the city's streets, preaching repentance and warning against vanity and worldly pleasures. His sermons stirred fear and hope in equal measure, shaking Florence to its core. This turbulent tide reached Botticelli's gentle soul. The carefree dreamer found himself caught between the bright past of flowing hair and ocean breezes, and a darker present filled with solemnity and prayer. His later works reflect this shift. Robes became heavier, expressions more serious, and the joy of myth gave way to religious devotion. The same brush that once traced delicate curls now sketched sombre faces cloaked in shadow. Yet even in these darker paintings, Botticelli's tender touch remained, a soft glow beneath the gloom, a whisper of grace. Despite the changing fortunes and his own fading health, Botticelli continued to create with quiet dedication. His art remained a sanctuary, a place where beauty and peace could still flourish. Though the world outside grew harsh and uncertain, his brush held onto the dream of harmony and light. His life, though marked by loss and loneliness in later years, was a gentle melody of creativity and hope. When Botticelli passed away quietly, Florence mourned the loss of a painter who had captured the soul's delicate beauty. His funeral was held at the Church of Ognissanti, a peaceful place where the soft colours of stained glass, filtered light onto the stone floors. Though his fame had waned, his spirit lived on in every brushstroke he left behind. Tonight, as you settle down, imagine the cool ocean breeze that Botticelli so loved, the gentle sigh of waves brushing against the shore, carrying the scent of salt and wildflowers. Picture the flowing hair of his figures, soft and weightless, drifting in slow motion like ribbons in the wind. See the delicate folds of their robes swirling quietly, inviting you into a world where worries dissolve and calmness reigns. Let the gentle warmth of Botticelli's art wrap around you like a soft blanket. Feel your breath slow, your heart grow steady, as the peaceful beauty of his paintings fills your mind. With each breath, drift farther from the noise of the day and closer to the quiet dreamscape where flowing hair and ocean breezes carry you gently into rest. Close your eyes now. Let the tender light and soft colours of Botticelli's world guide you to a night of deep and soothing sleep. Sleep well, dear traveller of history, and may the calm beauty of this dreamer's art cradle you softly through the night. Albrecht Dürer, the meticulous engraver of mysteries. Albrecht Dürer was born in 1471 in the lively and bustling city of Nuremberg, in what we now know as Germany. His family, though not wealthy, was skilled and hard-working. His father was a goldsmith, a craftsman who spent long hours shaping delicate and precious objects from shining metal. From his earliest days, Albrecht's world was filled with the soft glow of candlelight, reflecting on gold and silver, the steady sound of tools tapping, and the careful hands of his father shaping beauty from raw materials. These moments planted in him a deep appreciation for detail, patience, and precision. As a child, Albrecht was quietly curious. He watched the world closely, the veins running through a leaf, the delicate patterns on a butterfly's wing, the way light filtered through the branches of trees. He noticed the small things that others might overlook, and this keen observation would become the heart of his art. His hands were steady, and his mind was patient. These gifts made him perfect for engraving, a demanding craft where the smallest line can shape entire worlds. Albrecht's early training began with an apprenticeship to a local painter, where he learned to translate the world's wonders onto canvas and parchment. But it was engraving, the art of carving tiny lines into metal plates to create images full of depth and life, that truly captured his soul. Here he could express his meticulous nature, spending hours crafting intricate details that, when printed, would reveal stunningly lifelike and mysterious scenes. His rise to fame was gradual but steady. Albrecht travelled through Europe, absorbing knowledge from the great artistic centres and studying the natural world with unmatched intensity. His engravings became famous for their breathtaking detail. Every hair, every fold of cloth, every ripple in a stream captured with astonishing precision. Works such as Night, Death, and the Devil showed not just skill but a deep understanding of life's complexities and hidden meanings. His art was a gateway to mystery, inviting viewers to pause, to ponder, and to discover secrets in the quiet shadows of each line. During the early years of his career, Albrecht experienced moments of great hope and promise. Patrons admired his genius, and his works were sought after by nobles and scholars alike. His ability to combine technical mastery with profound symbolism made his art timeless. His famous self-portraits revealed a young man confident in his craft, yet thoughtful and introspective. It was as if he painted not only his outward appearance but also the depth of his soul. But life's path is never smooth. A turning point came as Europe began to shift under the weight of religious reform and political upheaval. The certainty that had once filled the world with order began to waver. Albrecht himself faced illness and personal losses, moments that forced him to look inward. His art, once filled with vibrant detail and energy, took on a quieter, more reflective tone. He explored themes of mortality, spirituality, and human fragility. The mysteries he had once chased with youthful zeal now became meditations on acceptance and understanding. During this period of challenge and change, some feared his genius might fade, but Albrecht's spirit endured. He continued to work, his hands steady even as his body weakened. His later engravings and paintings blend masterful detail with gentle solemnity, inviting viewers to contemplate the deeper questions of existence. Though his health declined, his commitment to art never wavered, each piece a soft conversation between the artist and the mysteries of life. When Albrecht Dürer passed away in 1528, the world lost a master who had forever changed the way we see the hidden beauty around us. His legacy lives on in the delicate lines and shadows of his engravings, in the timeless questions his art poses. He reminds us to look closely, to appreciate the small wonders often overlooked, and to find peace in the quiet mysteries that surround us every day. Now, as you prepare to rest, imagine the gentle scratching of Dürer's engraving tool as it moves with careful patience over a cold metal plate. Feel the steady rhythm of his hand, the soft scrape turning into a delicate web of lines, each one uncovering a secret, a whisper from the natural world. Picture the fragile wings of a dragonfly, the curling leaves of an ancient oak, the calm face of a figure lost in thought, all drawn with care and love bathed in a soft, comforting light. Let the quiet focus and tender detail of Dürer's work soothe your mind. Feel your thoughts slow, like ink settling on paper, your breath growing calm like a gentle stream flowing through a peaceful forest. Let his art wrap around you like a warm, familiar blanket, comforting and steady. Close your eyes now and drift gently with the patient hand and curious heart of Albrecht Dürer. Let the mysteries he captured lull you into a deep, peaceful sleep filled with wonder and calm. Sleep well, dear traveller of time and beauty, and may the meticulous care of Dürer's art guide you softly through the night. Hieronymus Bosch, the painter of strange dreams and allegories. Hieronymus Bosch was born around the year 1450 in the quaint and quiet town of 's-Hertogenbosch, nestled in the gentle hills of the Netherlands. His family were modest artisans and merchants, living close to the natural rhythms of their small town, where the ringing of church bells and the soft chatter of village markets filled the days. As a child, Hieronymus grew up surrounded by stories of saints and sinners, angels and demons, and the ever-present mystery of faith and the unknown. The flickering light of candles at night, the steady murmur of prayers from the nearby chapel, and the cool, earthy scents of the forest shaped his earliest memories. From his earliest years, young Hieronymus was a dreamer unlike others. While his friends played simple games under the sun, he wandered quietly through the woods and fields, his imagination filled with visions that seemed to shimmer just beyond the edge of reality. Strange creatures with twisted forms, hybrid beasts part human and part animal, and ethereal spirits dancing in the shadows of his mind. These were the companions of his childhood dreams. His eyes saw not only what was, but what could be, and his thoughts traced the hidden stories behind every leaf and stone. As he grew, Hieronymus was drawn naturally to the arts. His family encouraged his talents, and he was apprenticed to local painters who taught him how to capture the world with brush and colour. But Bosch's vision was never ordinary. Instead of painting calm portraits or peaceful religious scenes, he began to craft worlds unlike any others, intricate, surreal landscapes filled with symbolic figures that spoke in riddles. His art was a language of dreams, where angels and devils mingled, where virtue and vice danced in uneasy harmony, and where every detail was a whisper of deeper meaning. Bosch's rise to prominence was quiet but steady. His paintings found their way into the homes of nobles, the walls of chapels, and the collections of curious scholars. His masterpiece, The Garden of Earthly Delights stands as a sprawling, fantastical triptych that unfolds like a dream itself. The left panel presents a pristine Garden of Eden, calm and untouched, a world of innocence and light. The centre bursts with chaotic scenes of pleasure and temptation, fantastical creatures, lush landscapes and strange revelries, where beauty and danger intertwine. The right panel descends into dark visions of punishment and despair, a haunting reminder of the consequences of human folly. Through this work, Bosch invited viewers on a journey through the soul, exploring themes of temptation, sin, and redemption with unparalleled imagination. In his early career, Bosch's work was met with awe and curiosity. His ability to bring the strange and mysterious to life through meticulous detail and bold imagination made him a figure of fascination. People sensed that his paintings were more than pictures. They were mirrors reflecting the complexities of human nature, the constant struggle between light and darkness, innocence and corruption, hope and despair. Yet life was never simple for Bosch. The world around him was changing. Europe was gripped by plague, political unrest, and the first stirrings of religious reformation. These turbulent times cast long shadows over his later years. His health began to fail, and the vibrant chaos of his youth gave way to darker, more sombre reflections in his art. The whimsical, almost playful spirit of his early work softened into a quiet contemplation of mortality and the fragile balance of existence. He painted not just dreams, but warnings, and in his final years, his brush seemed to trace the weight of the world's sorrows. When Hieronymus Bosch passed away around 1516, he left behind a legacy both mysterious and profound. His paintings continue to captivate and puzzle us, timeless windows into a world where dreams and reality merge, where every figure and landscape is a symbol to be deciphered. His art invites us to pause and look deeper, to find meaning in the strange and beautiful shadows that flicker at the edges of our consciousness. Now, as you prepare to rest, imagine the soft flicker of candlelight casting gentle shadows that dance slowly on your walls. Picture Bosch's surreal creatures moving through dreamlike gardens, winged beasts, twisting vines, glowing orbs of light, each element a quiet story unfolding in the stillness of night. Hear the whisper of leaves stirred by a gentle breeze, the faint murmur of voices carried on the cool air. Let your thoughts drift gently into this strange and wondrous world, where mystery and calm intertwine. Feel the rhythm of your breath slow and deepen as the fantastic forms in Bosch's paintings float softly before your eyes. Let the quiet beauty of his allegories wrap around your mind like a comforting blanket, soothing away the noise of the day. Allow yourself to sink deeper into your bed, cradled by the calm and the gentle curiosity that Bosch's art inspires. Close your eyes now and drift with the painter of strange dreams and allegories. Let his visions carry you softly, gently, into a night of peaceful rest and healing sleep. Sleep well, dear traveller of the unknown, and may the mysteries of Hieronymus Bosch guide you into the sweetest dreams tonight. Caravaggio, the master of light and shadow, forever haunted by his own demons, Michelangelo Merisi, who had become known as Caravaggio, was born in 1571 in the small town of Caravaggio, nestled in the rolling hills of Lombardy, northern Italy. His early life was shaped by the rhythms and hardships of a modest family, touched by sorrow when his father passed away while Michelangelo was still a child. This loss cast a long shadow over his youth, yet within this quiet pain his spirit burned with fierce intensity and a restless curiosity about the world. As a boy growing up in the tight streets of Milan, young Michelangelo was drawn to the play of light and shadow cast by the sun filtering through narrow windows and alleyways. These contrasts fascinated him, the way light could reveal and conceal, comfort and unsettle. While other children found joy in simple games, he found himself captivated by the human face and form, by the emotions whispered through a glance, a furrowed brow, or the curve of a hand. He watched the world carefully, storing these images deep within his mind. His journey into art began as an apprenticeship under local painters, where he honed his skill but quickly distinguished himself through a radical approach. Unlike the smooth idealism popular among many Renaissance artists, Caravaggio's vision was raw and unvarnished. He painted real people with real flaws, beggars, thieves, saints, and sinners alike, imbuing his work with a gritty humanity that was startling in its honesty. His brush brought forth faces that showed joy and pain, hope and despair, often lit dramatically by a single source of bright light piercing thick darkness. This unique vision catapulted Caravaggio to fame in Rome, where his dramatic style captured the attention of powerful patrons. His paintings such as The Calling of St. Matthew and Judith beheading Holofernes redefined religious art, presenting sacred stories as visceral, immediate experiences rather than distant ideals. The interplay of light and shadow in his works was more than aesthetic. It was symbolic, representing the eternal struggle between good and evil, revelation and mystery, life and death. Yet beneath this luminous exterior lay a tempestuous soul. Caravaggio's personal life was marked by violence and conflict. His quick temper often led to brawls in the streets, and his fiery spirit clashed with both law and society. A pivotal moment came when a duel turned deadly, forcing him to flee Rome under threat of death. From this turning point, his life became a restless journey through Italy's cities, Naples, Malta, Sicily, marked by both exile and artistic brilliance. During these years of wandering, Caravaggio's art took on new depths of darkness and intensity. His paintings revealed the weight of his inner struggles, fear, guilt, and a longing for forgiveness. In works like the beheading of St. John the Baptist, the light that once symbolized divine grace now also seemed to highlight the fragility of human life and the shadow of impending death. His figures appear vulnerable, haunted by the consequences of their actions and the passage of time. Though constantly pursued by his past and facing constant danger, Caravaggio never ceased to create. His art became his sanctuary, a place where the battle between light and shadow played out not only on canvas, but within his soul. Even in exile, he continued to produce powerful works that challenge and move us centuries later, reminding us of the complex nature of humanity. In 1610, Caravaggio's turbulent journey ended suddenly near the shores of Porto Ercole. The exact circumstances remain a mystery, whether illness, injury, or foul play, yet his death closed a chapter filled with brilliance and sorrow. His legacy endures, a testament to the power of honesty in art and the beauty found in the interplay of light and darkness. Now, as you settle into your quiet space, feel the soft flicker of candlelight brushing gently across your room. Picture Caravaggio's paintings unfolding softly behind your closed eyelids, the vivid bursts of light illuminating faces marked by life stories, shadows cradling secrets and mysteries. Let the quiet drama of his art soothe your thoughts, each brushstroke a lullaby that eases the mind and heart. Breathe deeply and slowly, feeling the gentle balance of illumination and shade calm your spirit. Let Caravaggio's light guide you, not just through the night, but through your dreams, where shadows soften and fears fade away. Allow yourself to sink deeper into the warm embrace of rest, carried gently by the artist who mastered the dance of light and shadow. Close your eyes now and drift into peaceful sleep. May the quiet glow of Caravaggio's world envelop you, carrying you softly into the sweetest dreams. Sleep well, dear dreamer, and may the harmony of darkness and light bless your night. Artemisia Gentileschi, the fierce woman who painted with power and passion. Artemisia Gentileschi was born in 1593 in the lively city of Rome, a place alive with the echoes of ancient history and the brushstrokes of Renaissance masters. From her earliest days, she was surrounded by the vibrant world of art. Her father, Orazio Gentileschi, was a respected painter who recognized the spark of creativity in his young daughter. Under his watchful eye, Artemisia learned to handle brushes and pigments, spending countless hours in their sunlit studio, where dust motes danced like tiny stars in the soft light. The scent of oil paint and the quiet scratch of brush on canvas became the backdrop of her childhood. Though her early years were filled with learning and artistic discovery, Artemisia's life was far from simple. Being a girl in a society that believed painting was a man's work brought its own challenges. The expectations placed on women were rigid, confining them mostly to the domestic sphere. But Artemisia's heart beat with a fierce determination that refused to be contained. She was not meant to fade quietly into the background. Instead, she would carve her own path, a path bright with courage and colour. Her youth was marked by moments of both tenderness and hardship. The death of her mother left a deep void, yet in the warmth of her father's love and guidance, Artemisia found the strength to keep moving forward. However, tragedy struck in a way that could have shattered her completely. As a young woman, she faced a grievous betrayal that echoed through her life and shaped the very core of her art. Instead of surrendering to despair, Artemisia transformed her pain into power. She poured every ounce of her experience, sorrow and hope onto the canvas, painting not just images, but fierce stories of survival. Her rise to fame was remarkable and hard-won. At a time when women were rarely seen beyond the shadows, Artemisia stepped boldly into the light. Her work was unlike anything seen before, paintings bursting with raw emotion, vivid realism, and a deep understanding of the human soul. Patrons from across Italy sought her for commissions, enchanted by the intensity and passion that radiated from her art. Her masterpieces, such as Judith slaying Holofernes and Susanna and the Elders, shocked and awed. In these works, she portrayed women as strong, complex, and capable of agency and courage. Judith's determined gaze and powerful grip, Susanna's dignified resistance, they spoke volumes about resilience and justice. The early years of her career were bright with promise. She received acclaim, built a workshop, and inspired many with her fearless creativity. Yet, beneath the surface, the weight of her past and the relentless battles against societal prejudice left their mark. This turning point deepened the emotional layers of her paintings. Her brushstrokes began to carry the weight of struggle and the triumph of spirit. The faces she painted told stories of pain endured, of hope kindled, of power reclaimed. During her period of greatest creativity, Artemisia continued to challenge conventions and inspire. Her paintings were bold and dramatic, filled with light and shadow, movement and stillness. They invited viewers to feel, to question, to empathize. But as with many great artists, her life was not free from scandal or sorrow. She endured legal battles, struggled for recognition, and faced the harsh judgment of a world unwilling to accept a woman's power. Yet through it all, she remained a warrior of the canvas, her spirit unbroken. In the final chapters of her life, Artemisia's work softened with the wisdom of experience. Her later paintings held a quiet grace, reflecting on the cycles of pain and healing. She continued to paint and teach until her peaceful death around 1653, leaving behind a legacy as vibrant and enduring as the colours she once mixed. Now, as you settle into your bed, feel the gentle calm of the night wrapping around you like a soft shawl. Imagine Artemisia's figures emerging softly from the shadows, strong, tender, and unyielding. Let their courage and resilience seep into your heart. Breathe deeply, feeling the steady rhythm of your breath sinking with the quiet power of her story. Allow yourself to sink deeper into rest, carried by the gentle waves of light and shadow that dance in Artemisia's world. Let her fierce spirit fill you with quiet strength and peaceful dreams. The day's worries fade away, replaced by the calm assurance that you, too, carry a spark of her courage. Close your eyes now, dear dreamer, and drift gently into the night. Sleep well, cradled by Artemisia's fierce grace and tender strength, and may your dreams be filled with light and hope. Rembrandt van Rijn, the poet of candlelight, Rembrandt Harmenszoon. Van Rijn was born in 1606 in the quiet, picturesque town of Leiden in the Netherlands. Nestled between gentle rivers and soft hills, Leiden was a place where life moved slowly, and the skies often painted themselves in soft blues and greys. Rembrandt's family was humble but supportive, his father a miller who valued education and culture. From a young age, Rembrandt showed an unusual sensitivity to the world around him. He would watch the way the morning light filtered through leaves, how shadows stretched across the cobblestone streets, and how the colours of the world changed with the seasons. These small, quiet moments filled his heart and later inspired the luminous quality that would define his art. Growing up, Rembrandt was a thoughtful child with an intense curiosity. His parents encouraged him to study, and soon he began an apprenticeship with local artists. It was not an easy path. Art was a demanding craft, requiring patience, discipline, and an eye for detail. But Rembrandt's passion was boundless. He was fascinated not just by the surface of things, but by the stories hidden beneath, the emotions in a face, the history carried by an object, the fleeting dance of light and shadow on a simple fabric fold. These interests shaped the foundations of his artistic journey. As he moved into adulthood, Rembrandt's talent blossomed. He travelled to Amsterdam, then a thriving hub of trade and culture. There, his rise to fame was gradual but certain. Unlike the flamboyant artists of his time, Rembrandt gained respect through the quiet power of his work. His paintings captured more than just appearances. They revealed souls. His portraits held a deep, often tender humanity, while his religious and historical scenes pulsed with emotional intensity. He mastered the technique of chiaroscuro, using dramatic contrast between light and dark to create depth and atmosphere. This mastery gave his paintings a glowing, almost living quality, as if the figures were bathed in the flickering light of a candle. During his early years in Amsterdam, Rembrandt's life was full of promise. His workshop thrived as patrons from all over sought his portraits and religious scenes. He married Saskia van Eulenburg, a woman of grace and warmth who supported his work and inspired many tender portraits. Their life together was bright, filled with love and the hopes of building a family and legacy. Yet, even in this hopeful time, shadows lurked. Tragedy struck when Saskia died young, a loss that left Rembrandt devastated. The death of several of their children added to his grief. These personal losses brought a new depth to his art. His paintings became darker, more introspective, imbued with a sorrowful beauty that spoke to the fragility of life. The turning point in Rembrandt's life and work came from these moments of profound grief and reflection. His brush no longer sought only to please or impress. It began to explore the complexities of human existence, the pain, the resilience, the quiet dignity and suffering. His self-portraits in particular became a powerful dialogue with himself, charting the changes in his face and spirit through the years. He painted himself with honesty and compassion, showing the toll of time and sorrow but also a steadfast soul. Rembrandt's period of artistic maturity was marked by both brilliance and hardship. Though his work was revered, he faced financial difficulties and changing public tastes. Yet his creativity never faltered. His late works are quieter, more contemplative, filled with soft, glowing light that seems to come from within. Paintings like The Jewish Bride and The Return of the Prodigal Son reveal a deep understanding of love, forgiveness, and humanity's enduring hope. Even as the world around him shifted, Rembrandt held fast to the core of his vision, painting not just what the eye sees, but what the heart feels. In the final years of his life, Rembrandt lived modestly but continued to paint with unwavering dedication. He passed away in 1669, leaving behind a treasure trove of art that would influence countless generations. His legacy is one of light and shadow, beauty and truth, a reminder that even in darkness there is warmth and life. Now, as you settle into your bed, imagine a gentle candle flickering softly nearby. Its warm golden glow spreads comfort, casting peaceful shadows that dance quietly on the walls. Feel the stillness of the night wrap around you like a soft blanket, and let Rembrandt's world of light and dark lull your thoughts into calm. Each breath you take draws you deeper into relaxation, as the gentle flicker of candlelight mirrors the steady rhythm of your heartbeat. Let your mind drift gently on the soft waves of Rembrandt's artistry, each brushstroke a whisper of grace, each shadow a tender secret. The quiet poetry of his paintings invites you to rest, to let go of the day's worries, and to find peace in the balance of light and shadow within yourself. Close your eyes now, dear dreamer, and surrender to the gentle glow of the night. Sleep well, cradled by Rembrandt's tender light, and may your dreams be soft and filled with warmth. Johannes Vermeer, the quiet observer of domestic beauty. Johannes Vermeer was born in 1632 in the quiet, charming town of Delft, in the Netherlands, a place where life moved gently, marked by soft sunlight reflecting off peaceful canals and the muted hum of daily routines. His family belonged to the artisan class. His father was a silk weaver and art dealer who surrounded young Johannes with books, colours, and art objects from an early age. Growing up in this nurturing environment, Johannes developed a deep sensitivity to the quiet beauty of the world around him. He was not a boisterous child. Instead, he observed carefully, noticing the subtle play of light and shadow, the way a single ray of sunlight could transform an ordinary room into a sanctuary of warmth. From his earliest days, Johannes found comfort in these small moments. The flicker of candlelight, the softness of fabric, the gentle ripple of water in the town's canals. He was drawn to the intimacy of daily life, the silent stories told through a glance, a folded letter, or a still teacup resting on a wooden table. His parents encouraged his artistic inclinations, and as he matured he began apprenticing under local painters who taught him the skills he would later use to capture such profound simplicity on canvas. As he stepped into adulthood, Johannes Vermeer's rise was not marked by grand gestures or loud acclaim, but by quiet dedication and meticulous craftsmanship. In a time when many artists sought fame through large historical scenes or religious epics, Vermeer turned inward, focusing on the peaceful moments inside homes and the delicate expressions of his subjects. His paintings brought to life the softness of light filtering through windows, the sheen of pearls against smooth skin, and the texture of woven fabrics, all rendered with extraordinary precision and love. In those early years, Vermeer's work attracted the attention of local patrons who appreciated the gentle beauty he portrayed. His scenes of domestic life, women reading letters, girls playing musical instruments, figures lost in thought, offered a window into a calm world, removed from the chaos beyond. These paintings carried a stillness that invited contemplation, a pause to breathe deeply and appreciate the grace in everyday moments. His use of colour was masterful, with blues so rich they seemed to hold the depth of the ocean, yellows warm like autumn light, and earth tones that grounded each scene in quiet reality. Yet, despite this growing recognition, Johannes faced the challenges common to many artists. His family grew, and with it the responsibility to provide for his wife and children. His financial situation was often precarious, made more difficult by the painstaking pace at which he worked. Unlike others who could produce many paintings quickly, Vermeer created only a few, each carefully planned and rendered over months or even years. This tension between artistic perfection and daily survival shaped much of his life and work. A turning point came as Johannes balanced these pressures with a deepening artistic vision. His late paintings reveal a more introspective mood, suffused with a quiet spirituality. The light in his interiors no longer simply illuminated objects, it seemed to breathe life into them. The figures he painted appeared serene, almost meditative, as if caught in timeless moments of stillness and grace. The familiar scenes, windows framed by soft curtains, polished floors gleaming faintly, the gentle folds of fabric, became symbols of peace and refuge in a turbulent world. Vermeer's limited body of work, fewer than 40 paintings, holds an extraordinary power precisely because of its rarity and depth. His masterpieces, such as Girl with a Pearl Earring and The Milkmaid, continue to enchant viewers with their mysterious beauty and profound simplicity. These paintings do not shout or demand attention. Instead, they whisper to the soul, reminding us to slow down, notice, and find comfort in the ordinary. In the final years of his life, Johannes faced personal hardship, including the loss of loved ones and ongoing financial strain. Yet, his commitment to capturing the delicate beauty of everyday moments never faded. He died in 1675, leaving behind a legacy of art that continues to offer solace and inspiration to all who encounter it. Now, as you prepare to rest, imagine yourself in one of Vermeer's quiet rooms. The soft golden light of the morning sun gently pours through a window, casting long, tender shadows across a wooden table set with simple objects. Feel the warmth of that light wrapping you in comfort, the stillness around you inviting your body to relax fully. Let your breathing slow and deepen, in rhythm with the gentle flicker of light dancing quietly on the walls. Allow yourself to drift within this peaceful scene, where time moves softly and every detail holds a gentle story. Let the calm beauty of Vermeer's world cradle your mind, carrying away the noise and stress of the day. Each breath invites you deeper into rest, every moment a soft step toward peaceful sleep. Sleep well, dear dreamer, embraced by the quiet grace of light and shadow. May your dreams be filled with calm, gentle beauty, and may you wake refreshed, carried by the tender artistry of Johannes Vermeer. Diego Velázquez, the court painter who captured the soul of a princess. Diego Velázquez was born in 1599 in Seville, a city of warm light and lively streets, nestled in the southern region of Spain. His early years unfolded amid the gentle bustle of markets where the scents of fresh fruit, spices, and blooming orange trees mingled with the lively chatter of merchants and neighbours. Born to a modest family, his father a Sicilian immigrant and his mother a local woman, Diego grew up surrounded by the textures and colours of everyday life. From a young age he displayed a keen sensitivity to the world around him, noticing not just the colours of things but the moods they carried, the unspoken stories hiding in faces and fleeting gestures. As a child, Diego was quiet and observant, often spending hours watching the interplay of light and shadow, fascinated by how a single ray of sun could transform a simple room or the delicate shimmer of a silk cloth. His parents, recognizing his unusual gift, encouraged his interest in drawing and painting. Apprenticing with local artists in Seville, Diego learned the basics of his craft, absorbing lessons about composition, anatomy, and the subtleties of colour. The city itself was a place rich in art and culture, its churches and palaces filled with works by masters who inspired the young painter's dreams. At the age of 21, Diego made a pivotal move to Madrid, the seat of Spanish power, where opportunity and challenge awaited him. It was here that his talent found a stage worthy of its depth. The Spanish court under King Philip IV was a world of grandeur but also complexity, a place where art was both a symbol of power and a form of delicate diplomacy. Velázquez's rise was steady but marked by a deep commitment to authenticity. Unlike many court painters who flattered their subjects, Diego sought to reveal the truth beneath appearances, capturing the dignity and humanity of kings, queens, and commoners alike. His early court portraits quickly won admiration for their lifelike quality and emotional depth. Among his most beloved works is the portrait of Infanta Margarita Teresa, the young princess whose serene beauty and quiet grace Velázquez immortalized with remarkable tenderness. Her gaze, soft yet penetrating, invites the viewer into a moment suspended in time, a glimpse of innocence wrapped in the weight of royal expectations. Diego's brush rendered not only her physical features, but the gentle light that seemed to emanate from within her, the subtle folds of her luxurious gown, and the delicate sheen of pearls resting against her skin. But the life of a court painter was never easy. Diego navigated a world of intrigue and political tension, where favour could be fleeting and expectations high. The pressure to please the king and the court sometimes clashed with his artistic integrity, yet he remained steadfast, balancing the demands of patronage with his desire to paint honestly. His willingness to portray his subjects as they were, flaws and all, sometimes stirred controversy but also cemented his reputation as a painter of rare insight. As his career progressed, Velázquez expanded his range beyond formal portraiture. He painted religious scenes and mythological subjects, infusing each work with his signature realism and subtle use of light. His masterpiece, Las Meninas, stands as a pinnacle of his genius, a complex, layered scene where the viewer becomes part of the unfolding moment. The interplay of gaze and reflection, the soft diffusion of sunlight, and the meticulous attention to detail create a world both intimate and mysterious, inviting endless contemplation. Though his art flourished, Diego's later years were marked by personal challenges. He travelled twice to Italy, studying the works of Renaissance masters and bringing fresh influences into his painting. Yet, the weight of family responsibilities and declining health shadowed his final days. He passed away in 1660, leaving behind a legacy that would resonate through centuries, a testament to the power of seeing the world with kindness, curiosity, and unflinching truth. Now, as you settle gently into your bed, imagine yourself stepping quietly into a sunlit chamber, the walls bathed in warm golden light. The soft glow filters through tall windows draped with rich fabrics, casting gentle shadows that dance slowly across polished wooden floors. In this serene room, the young princess sits quietly, her delicate features touched by the tender light captured by Velázquez's masterful hand. You feel the calm dignity in her gaze, the softness in every fold of her gown, and the peaceful stillness that fills the space. Breathe deeply now, letting the warmth and calmness of this painted world seep into your being. Feel your muscles relax, your thoughts slow, and your heart find a steady rhythm in sync with the gentle play of light and shadow. Let the quiet grace of Velázquez's art wrap around you like a comforting embrace, inviting your mind to wander softly into dreams. With each breath, you drift further into calm, carried gently by the tender beauty of history's brush strokes. Sleep comes slowly, peacefully, as the master painter's quiet soul watches over you, guiding you into a night filled with restful dreams and serene stillness. Sleep well, dear dreamer. May the gentle light of Velázquez's world cradle you through the night and bring you a morning filled with calm and quiet joy. Francisco Goya, the dreamer who saw both terror and light. Francisco Goya was born in 1746 in the small, humble village of Fuentedoros, nestled in the quiet hills of Aragon, Spain. His beginnings were simple. His parents, José and Gracia, were modest folk, their lives closely tied to the rhythms of rural living. Yet even as a child, Francisco was different. He had a keen, curious gaze that seemed to drink in every detail, the way the sunlight filtered through olive trees, the worn faces of villagers, and the subtle changes of seasons that coloured the landscape around him. His childhood was marked by moments of quiet observation and early sketches, drawn with a restless hand on scraps of paper and walls, capturing the life that unfolded gently around him. The world was not easy for young Goya. His family was poor and opportunities scarce, but his determination was fierce. By his teens, he'd shown enough talent to begin an apprenticeship in Zaragoza under a local painter. There his skill deepened and matured. He learned the techniques of classical painting, the careful use of light, shadow and colour to breathe life into his subjects. But Goya was not content merely to copy. He yearned to express something deeper, emotions, thoughts, and truths that often hid beneath polished surfaces. In time, Goya made his way to Madrid, the vibrant capital where art and politics intertwined. It was here that his fortunes began to change. Through hard work, keen observation, and the support of influential patrons, he rose in the ranks of Spanish artists. His portraits captured the nobility with such realism and sensitivity that they seemed to reveal the souls behind the masks of status and power. His brush was skilled and bold, moving with confidence across the canvas, yet there was a spark of something more, an ability to capture the fleeting moods, the hidden fears and the secret longings of those he painted. In his early years at court, Goya's paintings were bright and lively, full of the pomp and celebration that surrounded royalty and aristocrats. He depicted joyous festivals, delicate aristocratic portraits, and scenes of everyday life, suffused with a warmth and lightness that charmed his patrons. But the artist's eye was never satisfied with surface beauty alone. As political tensions grew in Spain and across Europe, Goya's awareness deepened, and so did the complexity of his art. A profound change in Goya's life came when illness struck, leaving him deaf and physically weakened. This silence reshaped him deeply. No longer able to hear the world around him, Goya turned inward, and his art took on a new, haunting dimension. His paintings grew darker, more mysterious, filled with strange figures, dreamlike scenes, and unsettling allegories. The boundaries between reality and imagination blurred, as if the artist was exploring the hidden corridors of the human mind and soul. His famous black paintings, created in the quiet solitude of his home, revealed fears and visions that seemed to rise from the depths of his spirit, images of torment, madness, and the fragile nature of existence. During this time, Goya also became a fierce and unyielding witness to the horrors of his era. He lived through wars, revolutions, and political upheaval that tore Spain apart. His prints and paintings depicted these conflicts with raw honesty, the suffering of soldiers and civilians, the cruelty of oppression, and the chaos of violence. His art was no longer just decoration or celebration. It became a powerful, silent protest against injustice and brutality. Yet even amid such darkness, Goya's work carried a glimmer of hope, an enduring belief in humanity's capacity to see the truth and seek change. As age and illness deepened, Goya withdrew from the public eye, eventually moving to Bordeaux in France, where he sought peace away from the turbulence of his homeland. There, surrounded by calm landscapes and quiet towns, he spent his final years reflecting on the mysteries of life and art. Though his body grew frail, his mind remained vibrant, and his work continued to inspire those who would come after him. Now, as you lay down in your bed, picture the soft twilight of a Spanish evening, the fading amber light casting long, gentle shadows across old stone streets and olive groves. Feel the cool night breeze that carries the scent of jasmine and distant rain. Imagine the quiet solitude of Goya's studio, where candlelight flickers softly on walls filled with paintings, some filled with light and others touched by shadows that whisper secrets of the soul. Take a slow, deep breath and let your mind wander in this tranquil scene. Allow the subtle dance of light and shadow, hope and fear to ease your thoughts. Let your body relax deeply as the peaceful night embraces you, carrying you gently between waking and dreaming. May the quiet strength and profound vision of Francisco Goya's life guide you softly into restful sleep. Sleep well, dear dreamer, and may your dreams be filled with the gentle balance of light and shadow, carrying you toward a calm and peaceful morning. Elizabeth Vigée, Lebrun, the delicate chronicler of 18th century elegance. Elizabeth Vigée. Lebrun was born in 1755 in the heart of Paris, a city alive with the soft murmur of music, the gentle rustle of silk gowns, and the delicate clink of fine porcelain in grand salons. From her earliest days, Elizabeth found herself surrounded by beauty and refinement. Her father, Louis Vigée, a modest but devoted painter, nurtured her budding talent with patient hands and gentle encouragement. Even as a child, Elizabeth's eyes sparkled with curiosity, her tiny fingers eager to trace the shapes and colours that danced before her on paper and canvas. Her childhood was filled with quiet afternoons spent sketching the faces of her family, the play of light on flowers in a window box, and the shifting shadows that moved with the sun. Growing up amid the soft elegance of 18th century Paris, Elizabeth learned to see the world not just as it appeared, but as a delicate tapestry woven from light, texture, and emotion. Her early lessons were more than technique. They were lessons in patience, observation, and grace. Each brushstroke became a quiet conversation, a tender way to capture not only the outward beauty of her subjects, but the stories whispered behind their eyes. She was a gentle chronicler of her time, painting moments that might otherwise have slipped quietly away. As she blossomed into a young woman, her talent could no longer be contained in small sketches or private studies. Paris opened its doors to her, and soon Elizabeth was painting portraits that shimmered with life. Her rise was swift yet graceful, aided by her charm and the connection she built with noble families. But it was her natural ability to reveal the soul beneath the surface that won hearts and commissions alike. When Queen Marie Antoinette chose Elizabeth as her favoured portraitist, it was more than a professional triumph. It was a symbol of trust and friendship. Her portraits of the Queen and her court were filled with soft colours and tender light, capturing the fragile beauty and fleeting joy of a world on the brink of change. Yet the brightness of this time was shadowed by the rumblings of revolution. The elegant salons and glittering courts began to tremble beneath the weight of unrest and anger. Elizabeth's world shifted dramatically when the storming of the Bastille marked the beginning of a new era, one that would sweep away kings and queens, privilege and power. Forced to flee the country she loved, Elizabeth embarked on a journey of exile that took her through Italy's sunlit cities, Austria's regal palaces, and Russia's vast snow-covered plains. Though far from home, her brush continued to tell stories, not only of royalty and aristocracy, but of endurance and grace amid uncertainty. Throughout her travels, Elizabeth's art deepened in sensitivity and warmth. She painted not just faces, but lives, each portrait a gentle testimony to the strength and vulnerability of those living through times of great change. Her soft brushstrokes conveyed the quiet resilience in a widow's eyes, the hopeful glint in a child's smile, and the dignified calm of those who had weathered loss. In every canvas there was a tender light, a delicate balance between fragility and courage. Years passed, and Elizabeth returned to a France forever changed, carrying with her the quiet stories of exile and survival. Her legacy is not only the exquisite portraits that grace galleries around the world, but the enduring spirit of a woman who faced life's storms with grace, hope, and unyielding kindness. Now, as you lie comfortably in your bed, feel the soft caress of cool sheets and the gentle hush of the night surrounding you. Imagine the faint scent of lavender drifting through an open window, a flicker of candlelight casting dancing shadows on ancient walls. Picture Elizabeth's studio, a sanctuary filled with the quiet murmur of brushes on canvas, where moments of grace and beauty are captured and held forever. Breathe deeply and slowly, allowing your body to relax as your mind wanders through this gentle world of soft colours and whispered stories. Let the calm and elegance of Elizabeth Vigée Lebrun's life settle over you like a warm, comforting blanket. With each breath, sink deeper into rest, letting go of worries and tensions, drifting effortlessly toward peaceful dreams. Sleep well, dear dreamer. May the delicate light of history guide you softly through the night, carrying you safely to the dawn of a new, peaceful day. J. W. Turner, the magician of swirling seas and golden light. Joseph Mallord. William Turner was born in 1775 in London, a city alive with the hum of change, invention, and quiet moments of beauty hidden amid the bustle. From the very beginning, Turner's world was shaped not by the clamour of the streets, but by the soft whispers of nature's secrets. As a young boy, he was drawn irresistibly to the River Thames. There he would wander for hours, his small hands clutching a sketchbook, his eyes tracing the ever-changing surface of the water. The way the sunlight danced upon the waves, the shimmering reflections of boats gliding slowly by, and the drifting fogs that cloaked the river in mystery all captivated him deeply. Turner's family was simple. His father worked as a barber and wig maker, and though they did not have great wealth, they supported his artistic leanings with warmth and encouragement. Turner's childhood was a gentle unfolding of wonder and discovery. He learned early to watch the subtle shifts in light, to notice how colours softened as dusk fell, or how storms could transform a peaceful sky into a roiling canvas of dark clouds and golden flashes. These quiet lessons of nature's moods became the foundation of his genius. Even as a child, he did not just want to replicate the world as it appeared. He wanted to capture its soul, the feeling it left in the heart. His early art was delicate and detailed, full of a careful patience that drew people's attention. By his teens, Turner was already studying at the Royal Academy of Arts, and his talent was soon recognised by patrons eager to see the world through his eyes. As Turner's career blossomed, so too did his vision. He was no ordinary landscape painter. His restless spirit pushed him beyond the calm and the serene into the wild heart of nature's power. There came a turning point when his works transformed, no longer simply precise depictions, but swirling, glowing explorations of light and colour. He began to paint storms that roared with energy, seas that churned with force, and skies that blazed with the fiery colours of dawn and dusk. These paintings were filled with a kind of magic, the colours blending and flowing like music on a canvas, creating an almost dreamlike vision that seemed to move and breathe. This bold style unsettled some of his contemporaries, but it enchanted others, making Turner one of the most influential artists of his time. He was called the painter of light, a magician who could capture the very essence of the atmosphere itself. Despite the brilliance of his art, Turner's personal life was often marked by solitude. He shunned fame and preferred quiet homes, where he could devote himself entirely to his work. His obsession with the fleeting nature of light and weather sometimes isolated him from society. Yet, this solitude gave birth to some of his most powerful creations, works that pull viewers into the raw beauty and mystery of the natural world. His late paintings, with their loose fluid brushstrokes and glowing colours, invite us to lose ourselves in the vastness of sea and sky, to feel the awe and wonder that Turner himself must have felt. In his later years, Turner continued to work tirelessly, painting large, dramatic scenes that celebrated the sublime, nature's grandeur and power beyond human control. His art became a meditation on life's fleeting moments, the beauty found in change and impermanence. When Turner passed away in 1851, he left behind a legacy unlike any other, forever changing the way the world viewed landscapes and light. Now, as you lie comfortably wrapped in the quiet calm of night, picture the soft golden light of sunset spilling gently across a tranquil sea. Hear the steady, soothing rhythm of waves brushing softly against a distant shore, their whispers mingling with a cool evening breeze. Imagine clouds swirling slowly above, glowing faintly as they drift lazily across the sky. Feel the gentle warmth of this light wrap around you like a soft, comforting blanket, easing every muscle and quieting every thought. Breathe deeply and slowly, letting the peaceful beauty of Turner's world wash over you, carrying you gently away from the noise of the day. Let your mind float like a small boat on calm waters, rocked tenderly by the magic of light and shadow. With each breath, feel yourself sinking deeper into rest, surrendering to the soothing embrace of night and dreams. Sleep well, dear dreamer. May the glowing seas and golden skies of Turner's art guide you softly through the night and into the dawn of a peaceful new day. Caspar David Friedrich, the solitary wanderer in misty landscapes. Caspar David Friedrich was born in 1774 in the small, quiet town of Greifswald, perched near the shores of the Baltic Sea in northern Germany. The town, surrounded by thick forests and bordered by misty waters, was a place where nature whispered its secrets softly. From the earliest moments of his life, Caspar was surrounded by a world of gentle beauty, a world of towering pines whose needles caught the light like emerald stars, of rolling hills that disappeared into the morning fog, and of vast skies that shifted from soft pastels at dawn to deep indigos at dusk. His childhood was marked by long, solitary walks through these serene landscapes, where the quiet was only broken by the distant call of birds or the faint rustling of leaves in the breeze. His family was loving yet reserved, understanding the delicate nature of their son, who found comfort and wonder in the stillness of his surroundings, rather than in the noise of bustling towns. They encouraged his curiosity, allowing him to explore the woods and shores near their home, where he developed a deep, almost spiritual connection with the natural world. As a boy, Caspar often gazed out across the mist-covered waters, pondering the mysteries that lay beyond the horizon, a theme that would deeply influence his art in years to come. When Friedrich was old enough, he travelled to Dresden to study at the prestigious Academy of Fine Arts. There, amid the bustle of aspiring artists and city life, he honed his technique and learned to capture the delicate interplay of light and shadow. Yet, unlike many of his contemporaries who sought grand, dramatic scenes, Friedrich focused on quiet moments. A solitary tree silhouetted against the sky, a misty mountain valley bathed in dawn's first light, a lone figure standing before a vast, empty expanse. His paintings became windows into a world where time slowed, inviting the viewer to step inside and feel the calm presence of nature's mysteries. Early in his career, Friedrich's landscapes held a gentle hope. The light that filtered through his paintings was soft and luminous, as if the world itself was breathing gently in a moment of perfect peace. But as he matured, his work took on deeper, more contemplative themes. Life's fragility and the passage of time became central to his vision. He began to explore the sense of solitude inherent in the human experience, how each of us stands alone beneath an immense sky, facing the unknown with a mixture of awe and quiet acceptance. His paintings often featured small, distant figures looking out over vast, misty landscapes, inviting us to share in their silent wonder and reflection. This turning point marked a profound shift in Friedrich's art as he embraced the symbolic power of nature. The trees as sentinels of time, the mountains as eternal witnesses, the sea as a metaphor for the infinite. His work became a meditation on existence itself, offering viewers a gentle reminder that in the quiet spaces between the trees and beneath the endless sky, there is a place for peace, for hope, and for rest. Throughout his life, Friedrich remained a solitary wanderer, retreating often into the quiet of forests and seashores far from the clamour of cities. Despite growing recognition and praise, he never sought fame. Instead, he found comfort in the rhythms of nature and the changing seasons. As his health declined in later years, his paintings grew even more serene and introspective, filled with the soft glow of twilight and the delicate haze of early morning fog. They became gentle invitations to pause, breathe, and simply be. Now, as you lie quietly in your bed, feel yourself drifting slowly into one of Friedrich's peaceful landscapes, Imagine the cool mist curling softly around you, a gentle embrace that soothes your skin and calms your thoughts. Hear the soft murmur of leaves whispering in the wind, the faint splash of waves lapping against rocky shores, and the distant song of a lone bird carried on the breeze. The air is cool and fresh, filled with the scent of pine and the faint saltiness of the sea. Breathe in deeply, filling your lungs with this pure, gentle air. Let the calmness wash over you, carrying away any lingering tension or worry. With each breath, feel yourself growing lighter, your body sinking deeper into softness and warmth. Let your thoughts float like soft clouds across a pale sky, gentle and slow. Picture yourself walking slowly through a misty forest path. The ground beneath your feet is soft with moss, and the trees stand tall and silent, their branches reaching toward the sky like silent sentinels. As you move forward, the mist thickens gently, softening the edges of the world and inviting you to relax completely. With each step, feel your body becoming more and more at ease, your mind quiet and peaceful. Allow the tranquil beauty of Friedrich's world to cradle you like a lullaby, guiding you gently into a deep and restful sleep. The endless horizon stretches before you, full of promise and quiet hope. The soft light of dawn begins to touch the edges of the sky, a gentle reminder that with each new day comes renewal and peace. Sleep well, dear dreamer. May the misty woods and endless skies of Caspar David Friedrich's serene world carry you safely through the night and into the gentle warmth of a new dawn. Eugène Delacroix, the painter of revolution and passion. Eugène Delacroix was born on April 26, 1798, in Charenton-Saint-Maurice, a quiet town just outside Paris. His childhood unfolded in a world shaped by dramatic change. The French Revolution had shaken the foundations of society, and the air was still heavy with the hopes and fears of a new era. His father, Charles-François Delacroix, was a diplomat and politician who inspired Eugène with stories of distant lands and the power of ideas. From a young age, Eugène showed a natural curiosity about the world and a deep fascination with the beauty found in everyday life. The boy's earliest memories were filled with the soft light of his family's home, the scent of ink and paint in the air, and the gentle encouragement of his mother, who noticed his talent for drawing. Eugène's childhood was not just a quiet retreat, it was also a time of discovery. He learned to see the world with a painter's eyes, watching how the sunlight danced on leaves, how shadows shifted on the walls, and how people's emotions painted their faces. These early experiences laid the foundation for a lifetime of passionate observation and artistic expression. As Eugène grew, so too did his ambition. Moving to Paris, the heart of art and culture, he enrolled at the prestigious École des Beaux-Arts, eager to learn from the great masters who came before him. But Delacroix was not content with copying the old ways. He was a restless spirit, hungry to break free from tradition and capture something new, something alive and urgent. His paintings would come to embody the spirit of Romanticism, a movement that celebrated emotion, individuality, and the wild, untamed forces of nature and human life. Delacroix's rise to fame was marked by his fearless use of colour and dramatic compositions. He painted scenes of revolution, war, and passion with a boldness that shocked some but captivated many. His masterpiece, Liberty Leading the People, immortalized the July Revolution of 1830, portraying a strong, determined woman leading a crowd forward, a symbol of hope and courage. Through his art, Eugène gave form to the hopes and struggles of his time, inviting viewers to feel the heat of battle, the tension of rebellion, and the unyielding desire for freedom. In these early years of his career, Delacroix's work was full of promise and vitality. Critics marvelled at his daring brushwork and vivid palette. He was a man who painted with the fire of his heart, pouring raw emotion onto the canvas. Yet behind the grandeur of his public life was a more complex story. Eugene often battled with feelings of doubt and loneliness. His health was fragile, and he sometimes found himself weighed down by the very passions that fueled his art. A significant turning point in Delacroix's life came as he faced these inner struggles. Illness slowed his restless pace, and moments of quiet reflection deepened his vision. He began to explore themes beyond grand battles and heroic figures, turning toward the subtle beauty of nature, the intimacy of quiet moments, and the delicate interplay of light and shadow. His later works show a softer side, where storms give way to calm seas and fiery skies mellow into gentle dawns. The period following his youthful brilliance was not without hardship. As Europe shifted and new artistic movements emerged, Delacroix sometimes felt out of step with the changing times. Yet his commitment to his vision never wavered. He continued to paint with passion, always searching for the perfect harmony between energy and tranquility. His portraits became deeply personal, capturing not just faces but the inner lives of his subjects. Toward the end of his life, Eugene Delacroix found solace in nature's quiet rhythms. He loved to wander through gardens, gaze at sunsets, and listen to the rustling of leaves. These moments of peace inspired some of his most serene paintings, works that seemed to breathe with the gentle pulse of the earth itself. Though his brush once traced fierce battles, it now traced the delicate bloom of flowers and the soft glow of twilight. Delacroix passed away peacefully on August 13, 1863, leaving behind a legacy that transformed art forever. His life was a testament to the power of passion balanced with reflection, of wild energy tempered by calm. History remembers him as a painter who dared to break boundaries and capture the full spectrum of human experience, from the heights of revolution to the depths of quiet contemplation. Now, as you lay beneath your cozy blanket, imagine yourself stepping gently into one of Delacroix's vibrant paintings. Feel the warmth of the sun filtering through the branches, casting dappled light on your skin. Hear the distant murmur of life, a soft breeze, the gentle hum of bees, the quiet rustle of grass. Let the colours swirl softly around you, blending fiery reds and golds into peaceful pastels. Breathe deeply, drawing in the calm strength of this moment. With every slow exhale, release any tension from your day. Let your body melt into the softness of your bed, your mind float on the gentle waves of colour and light. Here, in the balance of passion and peace, find the perfect place to rest. Sleep well, dear dreamer. May the fire and the calm in Eugene Delacroix's world cradle you tenderly into a night full of peaceful dreams and restful slumber. Jean-Auguste Dominique. Ingress. The master of cool lines and marble skin. Jean-Auguste Dominique. Ingres was born in the year 1780 in the quiet, sunlit town of Montauban, nestled in the gentle hills of southern France. His childhood was filled with a kind of calm beauty that would later define his work. The soft rustling of leaves, the warm glow of afternoon light spilling through window panes, and the quiet concentration of a young boy sketching patiently by candlelight. His father, himself a painter, noticed early on the delicate sensitivity with which young Jean-Auguste held his pencil, the way his hand moved with both confidence and care across the paper. It was in this serene environment that Ingres first began to see the world as a place shaped by lines, shapes, and quiet harmony. Growing up, Ingres's family encouraged him to develop his gift, and so the boy's days were filled with drawing classical statues, copying the work of the old masters, and practicing the elegant curves of the human form. He was not drawn to the wild storms of emotion or chaotic bursts of colour that characterized some of his contemporaries. Instead, Ingres found solace in balance, proportion, and clarity, an orderly world where every curve spoke of grace and every line was crafted with intention. This foundation would shape his entire life's work. At a young age, Ingres moved to Paris, the bustling centre of art, culture and ambition. Here he enrolled at the École des Beaux-Arts, immersing himself in rigorous training. The city buzzed with energy, filled with artists seeking to leave their mark. Yet, Ingres stood apart with his quiet dedication and meticulous attention to detail. He spent hours perfecting his drafts, studying anatomy with unwavering focus, and copying the revered sculptures of antiquity. While other artists were captivated by the emotional intensity of Romanticism, Ingres held firmly to the neoclassical ideal, pursuing purity of form and serene beauty. As he began to rise in the art world, Ingres's work attracted attention for its precision and elegant simplicity. His portraits revealed a mastery of light and shadow that seemed to sculpt the skin itself into smooth marble. The faces he painted were not just likenesses, but windows into a world of quiet dignity and timeless grace. Women in his paintings often appeared as ethereal figures, their skin glowing with a porcelain softness, their forms wrapped in flowing fabrics that seemed to float effortlessly in the air. Each portrait was a study in control, balance, and refined beauty, inviting viewers to pause and contemplate. Ingres's early reign as a master painter was marked by both admiration and challenge. Critics sometimes described his style as cold or detached, unable to capture the passion that others sought in art. Yet Ingres remained steadfast, believing that true beauty was not found in fleeting emotion but in enduring harmony. He continued to refine his technique, painting historical scenes, mythological subjects, and aristocratic portraits with a steady hand and unyielding vision. A turning point in Ingres's life came as he confronted the pressures of his career and the expectations of society. Behind his cool exterior, he wrestled with moments of doubt and solitude. There were times when the weight of commissions and the demand for perfection felt overwhelming. Yet, rather than breaking under pressure, these challenges deepened his artistry. He began to explore a softer approach, one that allowed glimpses of warmth and humanity to shine through the marble surfaces. His later work showed this gentle transformation, figures who seem alive not just in form but in spirit. This period was a delicate dance between discipline and emotion. Ingres's portraits gained a subtle sensuality, where cool lines gave way to tender curves and rigid structure softened into fluid grace. His paintings no longer felt distant. They whispered secrets of inner lives and quiet moments. It was as if his brush, once sharp and exacting, learned to breathe alongside the subjects he portrayed. Despite his reserved nature, Ingres formed deep connections with the people he painted. Kings and queens, poets and dancers, all trusted him to capture their essence with honesty and elegance. His work became a mirror reflecting not only their outer beauty but their inner calm and strength. He painted with the patience of a sculptor, carving out personalities with light and shadow, every detail imbued with care and respect. As years passed, Ingres embraced the gentle rhythms of aging with quiet acceptance. His later life was marked by peaceful reflection, where he found joy in solitude and the natural world. He enjoyed long walks in gardens, observing the way sunlight filtered through leaves and the delicate curve of flower petals. These moments inspired a series of works that glowed with serene beauty, as if the artist's soul had settled into a place of contentment and grace. Ingres died in 1867, leaving behind a rich legacy of elegance and precision. His life is remembered as a testament to the power of patience, discipline, and unwavering dedication to beauty. He showed the world that art could be a refuge, a place where calm order and delicate harmony soothe the spirit. His paintings invite us to slow down, to appreciate the quiet moments where every line and curve tells a story of grace and balance. Now, as you lie back, wrapped warmly in your bed, imagine stepping into one of Ingres's tranquil portraits. Feel the soft glow of marble skin beneath your fingertips, the coolness of smooth stone blending with the warmth of gentle light. Let your breath slow, matching the rhythm of his careful brushstrokes. Feel the calm that comes from perfect balance, where every shape is in harmony and every line flows gently. With each inhale, draw in peace. With each exhale, release tension. Let the soft contours of his world cradle you like a quiet lullaby whispered by a timeless hand. Rest here in this serene space, where beauty is gentle and stillness is deep. Sleep well, dear dreamer. May the cool lines and quiet grace of Jean-Auguste Dominique Ingres's art carry you gently into a night full of calm, restful dreams and peaceful slumber. Gustave Courbet, the realist who painted what he saw. Gustave Courbet was born in 1819 in the quiet village of Ornans, nestled along the gentle Doubs River in eastern France. His childhood was shaped by the natural world around him, the rolling hills, the murmuring streams, and the everyday rhythms of rural life. Courbet's family was comfortably well off, but young Gustave was always drawn more to the dirt beneath his feet than to the polished drawing rooms of the town. He saw beauty in the ordinary, the rough bark of an old tree, the soft curve of a ploughed field, the tired faces of workers after a long day. From an early age he developed an unfiltered eye for the world as it truly was, rather than as others wished to imagine it. Encouraged by his parents, Courbet moved to Paris to pursue art. The city was alive with dreams and ambitions, but it was also filled with artists who painted grand, idealized scenes, mythical gods, romanticized nobles and staged dramas. Courbet, however, was not interested in fantasy or escape. He wanted to paint the real world in all its roughness and beauty. He studied the works of old masters and learned the craft of painting with dedication, but his vision was clear: to bring the lives of ordinary people to the canvas without embellishment or artifice. As he began his career, Courbet's realism caused ripples in the art world. He refused to bow to the expectations of salons and critics who demanded romantic fantasy or polished perfection. Instead, his brush captured peasants working in fields, labourers at rest, and the everyday scenes of village life. His paintings were honest, raw, and unvarnished. This approach made him a rebel, a pioneer of a new way to see and represent the world. Courbet's early successes gave him confidence. He was admired for his fearless truthfulness and technical skill, yet he also faced harsh criticism and rejection. The establishment saw him as a threat, a painter who challenged their carefully crafted illusions. But Courbet remained steadfast, committed to painting what he saw and felt. His studio became a place of creative freedom, filled with canvases that celebrated the strength and dignity of common life. A turning point came as Courbet's vision deepened and expanded. He began to paint not just landscapes and peasants, but also grand historical scenes, infused with his realist philosophy. He sought to break down the barriers between art and life, to show that truth and beauty coexist in the everyday. Yet, this also brought him into political turmoil. Courbet was passionate about justice and social change, and he supported the revolutionary spirit of his time. His art became a voice for the oppressed and the forgotten, challenging the power structures of 19th century France. However, his commitment to both realism and revolution brought consequences. Courbet's later years were marked by exile and hardship after his involvement in the Paris Commune, a brief revolutionary government that was violently suppressed. He was forced to flee France and live in exile in Switzerland, far from the familiar landscapes of his youth. This period was a painful fall from grace filled with loneliness and longing. Yet, even in exile, Courbet's spirit remained unbroken. He continued to paint, capturing the quiet beauty of his new surroundings with the same honest eye. His death in 1877 marked the end of a life lived on his own terms, a life dedicated to truth, courage, and the raw beauty of the world. Gustave Courbet left behind a legacy that challenged centuries of artistic tradition and opened the door for modern art. He reminded us that sometimes the greatest beauty lies not in grandeur or fantasy, but in the simple, unadorned moments of everyday life. Now, as you settle into your bed, let yourself drift gently into the world Courbet saw, the quiet village paths, the soft sway of trees in the breeze, the calm faces of workers resting after their day's labour. Imagine the cool earth beneath your feet, the steady flow of a peaceful river nearby, and the soft light of dusk filtering through gentle clouds. Let the honest simplicity and deep stillness of his world surround you like a comforting blanket. Breathe slowly, feeling the calm rise within you. Each exhale releases the noise and rush of the day, leaving you wrapped in gentle quiet. In this place, there is no need for fantasy or pretense, only the soothing presence of what is real and true. Sleep well, dear dreamer. May Gustave Courbet's honest gaze guide you into a night of peaceful rest and soft, comforting dreams. Edouard Manet, The Bridge from Tradition to Modernity. Edouard Manet was born in 1832 in Paris, the heart of France, where art, culture and tradition intertwined in every street and cafe. His family was well established, belonging to the bourgeois class, offering him a childhood surrounded by books, music and early lessons in drawing. From a young age, Edouard showed a restless spirit. Not content with simply following the path laid before him, he sought to see the world with fresh eyes. The city's vibrant energy and his exposure to classical art planted the seeds of his passion, but it was clear that Manet's journey would not be one of imitation, but of bold innovation. As a young man, Manet enrolled in the prestigious École des Beaux-Arts and studied under traditional masters. Yet, his heart pulled him away from the polished, idealized paintings that dominated the salons of the day. Instead, he was fascinated by the life around him, the lively cafes, the bustling parks, and the everyday Parisians who passed by on the streets. He painted what he saw, the modern world in its candid, sometimes raw, truth. This was a departure from the grand historical and mythological scenes favoured by the establishment. His early work stirred controversy. When Manet exhibited Le Déjeuner sur l'herbe, the luncheon on the grass, in 1863, the public was shocked by its boldness. A naked woman sat casually with two fully dressed men in a picnic setting, a scene that upended classical ideals and challenged the viewer's expectations. The brushwork was loose, the composition unconventional. Critics were harsh, yet beneath the scandal lay a new voice, a new vision that bridged the old and the new. Manet's rise as an artist was not without struggle. His paintings were rejected by official salons, but embraced by a younger generation of artists and thinkers who saw in him the future of art. His works captured fleeting moments of modern life, the casual elegance of a cafe, the fleeting gaze of a woman, the smoke curling from a cigarette. He painted quickly, boldly, with an immediacy that mirrored the pace of the city itself. His brush seemed to dance across the canvas, full of life and energy. Despite the challenges, Manet's early successes built his confidence and fame. He became a central figure in the Parisian art scene, a friend and mentor to the Impressionists who followed. Yet, unlike some of his contemporaries, Manet never fully embraced their softer, more impressionistic style. Instead, he balanced tradition with innovation, realism with modernity. This delicate dance made him a bridge, a man who respected the masters before him, but also opened the door to a new way of seeing and painting. A turning point in Manet's life came with illness. In the late 1870s, he fell gravely ill with complications from syphilis, a condition that would plague him in his final years. This period was marked by pain and reflection, yet even in suffering, his passion for art did not fade. He continued to paint, his brush growing more expressive, more intimate. Some of his last works reveal a softer, more contemplative side, a man confronting his mortality while still celebrating the beauty and vitality of life. Manet's later years were filled with both accomplishment and sorrow. Though he never lived to see full recognition by the traditional art institutions, His influence was undeniable. He had shattered old conventions, paving the way for artists to explore new forms and subjects. His work was a testament to courage, the courage to challenge, to innovate, and to remain true to one's vision, even in the face of criticism and adversity. When Manet passed away in 1883, Paris mourned the loss of a bold spirit who had reshaped its artistic landscape. He left behind a legacy not just of paintings, but of a new way to see, to embrace the present moment, to find beauty in the everyday and to blend the old with the new in a dance of light and colour. Now, as you lie down, feel yourself settling into the gentle rhythm of life that Manet loved to capture. Imagine the soft chatter in a Parisian cafe, the flicker of gas lamps along quiet streets, the tender glow of a sunset painting the sky in warm hues. Let the bold brushstrokes of his art soften in your mind, becoming waves of calm that wash over you. Breathe deeply and slowly. With each breath, let go of the day's worries and invite peace to fill your heart. In this moment, the city slows down, the colours blend into gentle shadows, and the world holds its quiet breath. Sleep well, dear dreamer. May Edouard Manet's fearless spirit guide you gently into a night full of beautiful, tranquil dreams. Claude Monet, the gentle poet of water lilies and soft morning mists. Claude Monet was born in 1840 in the bustling city of Paris, yet his heart belonged to the calm countryside where he spent his childhood. From his earliest days, Monet was drawn not to the noise and rush of city life, but to the soft beauty of nature surrounding him. He grew up in Le Havre, a small coastal town where the sea whispered stories and the skies shifted in endless dances of light and colour. As a boy, Monet's favourite pastime was sketching the world around him, the gentle waves breaking on the shore, the sails of ships floating against the horizon, and the delicate blossoms of wildflowers swaying in the breeze. His family recognised his artistic talent and encouraged him to explore it, though Monet himself was less interested in the formal lessons and more captivated by the world beyond classroom walls. He was a quiet dreamer who found joy in watching sunlight ripple through leaves or reflect off water. These early experiences planted the seeds of what would become a lifelong quest, to capture not just the shapes and forms of the world, but the ever-changing light that gave them life. As a young man, Monet moved to Paris to pursue his passion for art. He enrolled in formal art schools, but soon grew restless with the traditional teachings focused on precise, detailed representation. The art of the time was dominated by history paintings, grand portraits, and scenes from mythology, all painted with a controlled hand and rigid technique. Monet's heart yearned for something different. He wanted to paint the world as he experienced it, in motion, alive with light and colour that shifted with every moment. This longing led him outdoors, to the banks of the Seine River, gardens bursting with flowers, and the streets of Paris itself. He began to paint en plein air, or outside in the open air, allowing nature to guide his brush. His paintings captured fleeting moments, the shimmering reflection of clouds on water, the golden glow of morning sun filtering through trees, the haze of mist settling over a quiet pond. Rather than focusing on detail, Monet sought to capture the impression, the mood, the atmosphere, the play of light that made each scene unique. Monet's style was new and daring. When he first exhibited his work, many critics were puzzled or even hostile. His loose brushstrokes and unfinished edges seemed careless to them. His subjects, everyday scenes, landscapes, gardens, lacked the grandeur expected by the art establishment. But Monet persisted, driven by an inner vision and a gentle courage. Slowly, others began to see the beauty in his art. His paintings spoke to a new way of seeing, one that embraced change and impermanence. A pivotal moment in Monet's life was his discovery of Giverny, a small village where he would eventually create a magnificent garden, both his sanctuary and his muse. The garden was a dream realized, filled with flowers, winding paths, and a tranquil pond adorned with water lilies floating like delicate jewels on the surface. Here, Monet's art blossomed into something extraordinary. He painted the garden again and again, capturing it in different lights, at various times of day, and through changing seasons. Each painting was meditation on light and colour, a gentle exploration of nature's subtle shifts. Yet Monet's life was not without struggle. In his later years he faced the heartbreak of losing loved ones and battled failing eyesight, a cruel irony for a man whose life's work depended on his vision. Despite these challenges, his commitment to his art remained unshaken. Even as his eyes dimmed, his brush continued to move, creating paintings that shimmered with a new intensity. Some say his blurred vision gave his late works a dreamlike quality, as if inviting the viewer to see the world not just with their eyes but with their hearts. Monet's paintings are more than images. They are gentle invitations to slow down and breathe deeply. They capture moments when the world holds its breath, when the light softens and time seems to stretch. His water lilies float on the surface of the pond like whispers, reflecting clouds and sky in a dance of softness and stillness. His gardens are places of peace, where colours blend and merge, creating a harmony that soothes the soul. As you lie here now, let yourself be carried away to Monet's garden. Imagine the soft rustle of leaves stirred by a light breeze, the gentle splash of water as a dragonfly skims across the pond. The air is fresh and sweet with the scent of flowers, lilies, irises and roses, all mingling in a fragrant embrace. Picture the sunlight filtering through the trees, casting dappled patterns on the path, warm and golden. Feel the calm seep into your body, like water gently lapping at the shore. Each breath you take is a soft ripple spreading through a still pond. Your thoughts begin to slow, like clouds drifting lazily across a wide blue sky. The gentle colours of Monet's world wrap around you like a soft blanket, pale greens, tender blues, and touches of pink and white. The gentle glow of dusk begins to settle, turning the garden into a place of quiet magic. Let the serenity of this peaceful scene fill your mind and heart. As you breathe out, release any tension or worry. Feel your body sink deeper into comfort and rest. Imagine that with every breath you drift closer to a place where dreams are painted with soft light and delicate colours, where time moves slowly and peace reigns. Monet's art reminds us that even in the smallest moments, the shimmer of water, the flutter of a leaf, there is beauty worth noticing, a calm worth embracing. Tonight allow his gentle vision to guide you. Let the light of his water lilies brighten your dreams and the softness of his garden calm your soul. Sleep well, dear dreamer. May the tranquil waters of Monet's world carry you gently into a night filled with quiet dreams and deep rest. Bertha Morisot, the quiet observer of family life. Bertha Morisot was born in the gentle light of Bourges, France, in 1841. From her first breath, her world was wrapped in soft colours and quiet whispers, a home filled with the comforting glow of family and the promise of gentle joys. The Morisot household was one of cultured refinement, where art and music were as much a part of life as the morning sun filtering through lace curtains. Bertha was the third of 4 children, each of them tenderly watched over by loving parents who nurtured their curiosity and creativity. From the earliest days of her childhood, Bertha saw the world as a canvas of fleeting moments, the hush of footsteps in the drawing room, the soft rustle of her mother's silk dress, the gentle laughter of her sisters in the garden. Even as a child she was captivated by the delicate interplay of light and shadow, by the poetry of small, unnoticed scenes. Her father, a high-ranking civil servant, encouraged his daughters to explore the world of art, offering them lessons and gentle praise. Her mother's soft voice read stories in the evening, and the warmth of these stories settled deep into Bertha's dreams. It was in this nurturing cocoon of family love that Berta's talent began to bloom. She and her sisters, Edma and Eves, took lessons from the best teachers they could find. In these early days, she learned the careful lines of drawing and the play of light across the canvas. Yet even then, Berta sensed that the most important part of art was not in rules and lessons, but in the soft breath of a moment caught between heartbeats. As she grew, Berta's gentle spirit was drawn to the new energy blossoming in Paris. The city was alive with a quiet revolution of colour and light, a movement that would come to be known as Impressionism. She was introduced to these fresh ideas by friends and mentors, including the painter Camille Corot, who encouraged her to paint what she saw and felt, not what she was told to see. Corot's quiet landscapes and gentle palette spoke to her own vision of the world, a vision rooted in softness and light. It was during these years that Berta met Edouard Manet, the painter whose boldness and innovation captured the restless energy of the city. Through Manet and the circle of Impressionist artists, Berta found a place where her delicate voice could sing. She joined their exhibitions, her paintings standing side by side with those of Monet, Renoir and Degas. Though quiet and reserved, she commanded their respect. Her brushstrokes carried the weight of quiet conviction. Her colours spoke of a world glimpsed through a tender gaze. Her early works captured the quiet elegance of home. A mother sewing by a window, a young woman reading in a sun-dappled garden, the gentle light of afternoon caught in a child's hair. Berta's paintings were an intimate whisper, a hymn to the small shining moments that often pass unseen. Unlike the grand histories of her male counterparts, Berta's art was a gentle celebration of the domestic sphere, of the private joys that bloom in the soft light of home. Yet in her gentle world there was a turning point, a moment when her art became both a refuge and a declaration. In 1874 she married Eugène Manet, Edouard's brother, and together they created a home that glowed with quiet joy. Their daughter Julie was born a few years later, and Berta's world blossomed in the tender glow of motherhood. Julie became her muse, her small hands and laughing eyes a wellspring of inspiration. Again and again Berta painted her daughter's world, Julie playing in a garden, Julie reading stories by the window, Julie lost in the sweet haze of childhood daydreams. In these paintings there is no grand spectacle, only the soft magic of everyday life. Berta's brush moved with the rhythm of a mother's love, capturing the gentle curve of Julie's cheek, the way the sunlight kissed her hair. Each painting was a quiet hymn to the fleeting beauty of childhood, a promise that even the smallest moments hold a world of wonder. As the years passed, Berta's art became even more tender, even more luminous. Her palette was soft, pale blues, gentle greens, the warm glow of sunlit rooms. Her brushstrokes seemed to breathe, each stroke a soft sigh that captured the hush of a quiet afternoon. The critics, though often harsh with women painters, could not deny the poetry of her work. They saw in her art a world of intimate grace, a refuge of peace and quiet light. Yet even in this tender world, shadows sometimes crept in. The loss of her dear sister Edma in 1879 left Berta with a quiet sorrow that coloured her paintings with a deeper melancholy. She poured her heart into her work, using each brushstroke to soothe the ache of absence. Her paintings of Julie in these years seemed to shimmer with both joy and longing, a gentle meditation on the fragile beauty of life and the love that remains even as the years drift by. Berta continued to paint through the soft Parisian seasons, her home filled with the laughter of her daughter and the gentle murmur of friends who visited to share stories and dreams. Her art was a sanctuary, a place where the quiet rhythm of daily life was elevated to poetry. She painted the play of light across a garden path, the warm glow of a fire on a winter afternoon, the hush of a summer evening when the world seemed to hold its breath. In her final years, Berta's art grew even more luminous, even more tender. She painted until the very end, her brush moving with a quiet urgency as if to capture every fleeting moment before it slipped away. She died in 1895, her passing as gentle as the hush of dawn, leaving behind a legacy of art that continues to speak in soft whispers across the years. As you rest tonight, imagine the soft glow of a Parisian morning in Bertha's world. See the gentle light of a window spilling across polished floors, the murmur of voices in the distance, the sweet rustle of leaves in a summer breeze. Picture Bertha at her easel, her brush moving in tender arcs, each stroke a caress that soothes the heart and hushes the world's noise. Let the gentle music of Bertha's world cradle you. Let your breath slow and deepen, each inhale a soft sigh, each exhale a drifting cloud of comfort. Picture the quiet joy of a mother smoothing her child's hair, the hush of an afternoon when the only sound is the whisper of the wind. Let the tender light of Bertha Morisot's art wrap around you like a soft quilt, each gentle brushstroke a promise of peace and calm. As you drift into sleep, let your dreams be filled with the gentle laughter of family, the soft glow of lamplight, the sweet hush of a world seen through a tender gaze. Sleep well, dear dreamer. May the soft, quiet world of Bertha Morisot carry you into a night of restful dreams, where every moment shimmers with gentle beauty and every breath brings you closer to peace. Sweet dreams. Pierre-Auguste Renoir, the painter of joy and luminous skin. Pierre-Auguste. Renoir was born in the warm glow of Limoges, France, in 1841, his first cries echoing in a world of gentle light and promise. His childhood was spent among the comforting rhythms of family life, where laughter was a balm and the quiet presence of loved ones painted the days in soft colours. Renoir's father was a tailor and his mother a seamstress, their days filled with the hush of cloth and the murmur of careful stitches. In this gentle world of craft and care, Renoir's eyes learned to see beauty in every detail, the play of light on polished buttons, the warm folds of fabric, the flicker of a candle's glow across a child's cheek. From his earliest years, Renoir carried this tender gaze with him. He was a child who saw the world as a dance of colours and movement, a sweet perpetual waltz that never ceased. When he was still young, the family moved to Paris, where the city's lively streets offered him a new palette of sights and sounds. He found work as a porcelain painter, his nimble fingers tracing delicate patterns onto the curved white surfaces. Each tiny flower, each curving vine was a testament to his growing skill and the quiet patience that would one day shape his art. It was in these humble beginnings that Renoir's love for light and colour was born. He saved his meagre wages to buy paint and brushes, and in the quiet evenings after the day's work was done, he would sit by the window and sketch the world as he saw it, alive, shimmering, filled with soft laughter and gentle light. His friends and family encouraged his gift, their voices warm and proud, and in these tender moments Renoir felt the first stirrings of a destiny that would carry him far beyond the small rooms of his childhood. As a young man, Renoir entered the École des Beaux-Arts in Paris, his heart swelling with dreams of colour and form. But even as he studied the grand works of the past, he felt a quiet pull towards something more immediate, more alive. It was in the company of fellow dreamers, Claude Monet, Alfred Sisley, Frédéric Bazille, that Renoir's vision began to blossom. Together they wandered the sunlit banks of the Seine, their laughter mingling with the river's quiet song, their eyes drinking in the luminous play of light on water and leaves. In these early years of friendship and gentle rivalry, Renoir's style took root. He began to see that true beauty was not found in grand history paintings or heroic tales, but in the fleeting moments of joy that shimmered in the light of an afternoon. A woman's smile as she turned her face to the sun, the warm glow of children's laughter, the tender hush of a mother's touch, these were the subjects that called to his heart. As his brush danced across the canvas, Renoir captured the sweet light of a summer's day, the delicate curve of a cheek flushed with laughter, the gentle rustle of silk and cotton in a garden's breeze. His paintings glowed with warmth and tenderness, each stroke a soft caress that brought the scene to life. Critics at first were slow to see the magic in his work, but Renoir paid them no mind. He painted not for the grand salons of Paris, but for the quiet joy of creation, the deep peace that settled over him as the colours bloomed beneath his hands. In the early days of his career, Renoir faced many hardships. There were times when he had no money for paint, when he had to choose between a warm meal and a new brush. But through it all he held fast to his gentle vision, believing that beauty could be found even in the simplest moment, if only one looked with a tender heart. His friends too shared this faith, and together they forged a new path for art, one that shimmered with the laughter of riverside picnics and the gentle hush of twilight. The turning point came in the bright days of the 1870s, when Renoir and his friends held their own exhibitions, rejecting the old ways and offering instead a world of soft colour and light. The critics named them Impressionists, and though they meant it as an insult, the young artists wore the name like a badge of honour. Renoir's paintings shone among them, scenes of gardens and dance halls, women in flowing dresses, children playing in sun-dappled fields. Each painting was a hymn to life's simple joys, a promise that even the smallest moment could bloom with wonder. As his fame grew, Renoir's palette became even more luminous, his brushstrokes softer, more tender. His models were often friends and family, their laughter and easy grace shining through the canvas. In the sweet hush of his studio, Renoir's world was one of warmth and gentle pleasures, a world where every curve of light held a secret, every whisper of colour a quiet song. Yet in the glow of his success there was also a quiet struggle. As he aged, Renoir's hands began to stiffen with rheumatism, the cruel ache of joints making each movement a labour of love. But even as pain crept into his days, Renoir refused to lay down his brush. He had his paintbrushes tied to his twisted fingers, and with each stroke he defied the creeping shadows that sought to steal his light. The world outside might have grown colder, but in his art the sun never set. The colours still danced, the figures still glowed with gentle laughter and soft grace. In the soft light of his final years, Renoir retreated to the gentle hills of Cagnes-sur-Mer, where olive trees whispered in the warm breeze and the sea glimmered with quiet promise. Surrounded by the tender care of his family, he painted until his last breath, his brush moving in slow, patient arcs across the canvas. His paintings of this time are filled with a hush of peace, a promise that even in the twilight of life, there is still beauty to be found. As you drift into sleep tonight, let your thoughts wander to Renoir's gentle world. Picture a sunlit garden where laughter mingles with the sweet murmur of leaves, where the air shimmers with the soft glow of afternoon light. Imagine the tender curve of a smile, the warmth of a sun-dappled cheek, the hush of a mother's lullaby. In Renoir's world, every breath is a soft sigh of wonder, every heartbeat a gentle dance of colour and light. Let your breath slow and deepen, each inhale a soft caress of peace, each exhale a quiet surrender to the gentle night. Picture Renoir's brush moving across the canvas, each stroke a promise of calm and comfort. Let the tender warmth of his paintings cradle you, each colour a note in a sweet lullaby that carries you ever deeper into rest. As you close your eyes, may the gentle glow of Renoir's art light your dreams with soft laughter and quiet joy. Sleep well, dear dreamer. May the world of Pierre-Auguste Renoir, soft, warm, and shimmering with light, guide you gently into a night of sweet, peaceful dreams. Let your heart be soothed by the soft music of his brush, the quiet beauty of his world. Sweet dreams. Vincent van Gogh, the troubled soul who painted stars. Vincent van Gogh was born in the gentle light of a Dutch dawn in 1853, in the small village of Zundert, where the fields rolled out like a soft quilt beneath the pale sky. His father was a minister, and his mother a quiet woman who filled their home with the sweet rustle of flowers. In this simple, peaceful world, Vincent took his first steps, his eyes already drawn to the flicker of light across the fields, the gentle movement of clouds across the endless sky. From a young age, Vincent felt the weight of the world pressing gently against his heart, a tender sadness that only deepened his love for all that grew and shimmered in the quiet earth. He was a boy who wandered the meadows for hours, his fingers brushing the heads of wildflowers, his thoughts a restless tide that never stilled. In the hush of dawn, he watched the sun slip through the clouds, and even then he felt the first stirrings of something that would later burst forth in a riot of colour and light. Vincent's path to painting was not a straight one. In his early years, he tried to follow the steady footsteps of his family, taking work as an art dealer and later as a preacher among the poor miners of Belgium. He spoke with passion and fierce compassion, his voice a warm comfort in the cold darkness of the mines. But always there was the quiet ache of something more, a longing to capture the world as he felt it, to pour his restless heart onto the canvas in strokes of colour and fire. In his late 20s, Vincent finally turned to painting with the full force of his soul. He began with dark, earthy colours, the browns and ochres of the fields he loved, the quiet dignity of peasants at work, their hands rough and strong. But even in these early works there was a quiet glow, a promise of the luminous light that would soon burst from his brushes. When Vincent moved to Paris, his world bloomed like a sudden spring. He met other artists, Monet, Pissarro, and his dear friend Gauguin, who showed him the gentle dance of light on water, the hush of dawn in a single stroke of pale blue. His palette brightened, his brushstrokes quickened, and for a while he found a fragile peace in the shimmering colours of Impressionism. But Vincent's heart was always a tender flame, flickering in the wind of his own doubts and dreams. He left Paris for the bright sun of Arles in the south of France, a place of golden fields and soft lavender air. Here he painted as though the world itself poured through his fingers, swirling cypresses, quiet farmhouses, the sun itself blooming like a soft molten flower in the sky. Each painting was a testament to the fierce love he carried for every blade of grass, every flicker of starlight. In Arles, Vincent's days were filled with the hum of the warm wind and the soft murmur of sunlit fields. He worked tirelessly, often painting through the night, his small room lit by the flickering glow of an oil lamp. His eyes saw everything, the quiet dignity of a worn wooden chair, the tender hush of a night sky painted with 1,000 trembling stars. Each stroke of his brush was a soft, fervent prayer, a promise that even in the smallest corner of the world there was beauty worth seeing. Yet, in the golden hush of those days, there was also the quiet shadow of Vincent's troubled mind. His mood swung like the gentle sway of wheat in the summer wind, sometimes bright and laughing, sometimes caught in the hush of a sorrow he could not name. He longed for companionship, for someone to share the gentle ache of his heart. When Gauguin came to stay with him in the Yellow House, Vincent felt for a brief moment that he had found a kindred spirit. Their days were filled with colour and laughter, but beneath it there was a quiet tension, a storm waiting to break. When Gauguin left, Vincent's heart fractured. In a moment of deep despair, he turned his sorrow upon himself, and the world grew quiet and dark. But even in the aftermath, Vincent found his way back to the canvas, back to the soft dance of light and colour that had always been his comfort. In those final years he painted with a fierce tenderness, each stroke a soft hush of hope against the darkness of his own mind. He moved to the quiet village of Auvers-sur-Oise, where the fields rolled gently beneath the summer sky. The wheat swayed in golden waves, and the cypresses stood like silent guardians of the earth. Vincent painted them all: the hush of twilight, the glow of a morning sun, the tender curve of a single flower in bloom. Each painting was a soft lullaby, a promise that even in the shadowed corners of the mind, there was still light to be found. In July of 1890, Vincent's restless heart finally stilled. The world had been too bright, too tender for a soul so fiercely alive. But in the gentle glow of his art, he left behind a quiet legacy, a soft promise that even in the dark there is light enough to dream by. Tonight, as you close your eyes and drift into the gentle hush of sleep, let Vincent's world cradle you in its tender glow. Picture the soft swirl of stars across the night sky, the trembling flicker of candlelight in a quiet room. Imagine the gentle hush of a sunflower's golden bloom, the warm rustle of wheat in a summer breeze. Let each colour soothe you, each gentle stroke of his brush wrap you in the soft comfort of a world made of light and quiet wonder. Feel your breath slow and deepen, each exhale a gentle sigh that carries away the weight of the day. Let your thoughts drift like Vincent's swirling stars, each one a flicker of gentle promise. In the quiet of the night, may you find a soft peace in the tender world he left behind. As you sink deeper into sleep, let Vincent's paintings be your lullaby, a hush of colour and light that guides you gently into dreams. Sleep well, dear dreamer. May the swirling stars and golden fields of Vincent van Gogh carry you softly into a night of peaceful rest. Let your heart be cradled in the quiet warmth of his gentle world. Sweet dreams. Paul Gauguin, the seeker of distant shores. Paul Gauguin was born in the soft glow of Paris in 1848, in a time when the city's cobbled streets were alive with the whispers of revolution and change. His mother's gentle lullabies and his father's adventurous tales shaped his early world. But before Paul could find his own voice, his family's path carried them across the wide blue Atlantic to the distant shores of Peru. In those early years, he wandered the warm, sunlit gardens of Lima, the air heavy with the scent of exotic blooms and the hushed mystery of ancient cultures. Even as a child, he carried the hush of the sea in his soul, the call of distant horizons that would echo in his heart all his life. When the family returned to France, the boy who'd seen golden shores and felt the pulse of the ocean beneath his feet could not forget the soft call of those distant lands. Yet life pulled him along a different course. He became a sailor, his days spent beneath the wide sky and the gentle roll of the waves. Each sunrise brought the promise of new lands, each sunset a quiet whisper of longing. He saw the coasts of the world pass by in a gentle blur, the hush of dawn on the Mediterranean, the glimmer of stars on the Atlantic's endless waves. Back on solid ground, Paul tried to anchor himself in the steady life of a stockbroker in Paris. He married Mette, a quiet Danish woman whose calm presence offered a fleeting promise of peace. Their children's laughter filled their home, and for a time Paul wore the mask of a steady man, yet in the quiet hours of night the brush and canvas called to him in gentle whispers. Painting became his secret solace, a quiet world where colours danced and dreams took shape. He found joy in the gentle rustle of a brush across canvas, the hush of colour blooming beneath his touch. At last, the call of his heart grew too strong to silence. He left behind the safe world of business and the gentle comfort of family to become a painter, an act of quiet rebellion against the steady grey world he had known. His early works glowed with the tender light of Impressionism, shimmering with the soft sigh of Parisian afternoons. But Paul's restless soul ached for more than gentle light and polite colour. He longed for something deeper, something that spoke of the wild, secret corners of the soul. In the company of artists like Pissarro and Cézanne, he searched for a new voice. His friendship with Vincent van Gogh was a brief, bright spark, two restless hearts painting side by side in the quiet warmth of Arles, their dreams blooming on the canvas in gentle harmony and hidden tension. But even in that tender bond, Paul felt the hush of the sea in his veins, the soft pull of lands yet unseen. And so he left once more, seeking the golden light and hushed mystery of the South Seas. In Tahiti he found a world that seemed to echo the quiet dreams of his childhood. The air was heavy with the sweet scent of frangipani, the sky a soft quilt of azure and gold. He painted beneath the gentle rustle of palm leaves, his brush capturing the warmth of brown skin and the quiet strength of island women. In the hush of evening, the soft call of the waves lulled him into a gentle peace, a peace he tried to pour into each canvas. He painted the world of Tahiti not as a tourist, but as a dreamer who had found a home in the soft hush of those distant shores. His colours deepened, each stroke a gentle prayer to the quiet power of nature, the soft mysteries of the human heart. He painted women with flowers in their hair, their gaze both tender and strong. He painted the hush of twilight over a village, the gentle sway of canoes on a moonlit sea. Yet even in paradise, Paul's soul was restless. He moved from island to island, seeking always the soft lullaby of a perfect home he never quite found. His health waned, but he painted on, each work a quiet testament to his search for beauty, each colour a soft sigh of longing. His last years were spent in the gentle embrace of the Marquesas Islands, where the land rose in green hills against the hush of a violet sky. In the quiet of those final days, Paul found a fragile peace. He painted the hush of dawn on a sleeping village, the tender curve of a woman's shoulder as she sat beneath a breadfruit tree. He painted the dreams that had carried him across oceans, the soft promise of distant shores, the gentle hush of a world that pulsed with life and colour. When he died in 1903, the sea itself seemed to sigh in mourning, the waves carrying his restless spirit into the hush of the endless blue. He left behind not just paintings, but a quiet testament to the human heart's longing, a promise that somewhere beyond the horizon there is always a soft, waiting shore. Tonight, as you sink into the gentle embrace of sleep, let Paul's journey be your own. Imagine the warm breath of a tropical breeze, the soft hush of palm fronds swaying in the moonlight. Picture the gentle glow of firelight on brown skin, the quiet murmur of waves against a starlit shore. Let your thoughts drift like a canoe on a sleeping lagoon, each breath a gentle sigh that carries you deeper into dreams. Feel the soft promise of distant lands, lush forests alive with the hush of life, oceans that cradle you in their endless blue. Let each stroke of Paul's brush be a soft lullaby, each colour a promise of beauty waiting in the quiet corners of the world. As you close your eyes tonight, let Paul Gauguin's gentle visions wrap you in their warm embrace. Drift on the soft tide of his colours. Let the hush of his distant shores guide you into the calm quiet of sleep. May your dreams be lit with the gentle glow of tropical sunsets, the quiet wonder of hidden worlds. Sleep well, dear traveller. In the hush of night, let your heart be cradled by the distant shores of Paul Gauguin's gentle world. Sweet dreams. Henri Toulouse, Lautrec, the chronicler of cabaret nights. Henri Toulouse-Lautrec was born in 1864 in the rolling hills of Albi, France, where the air was sweet with the perfume of wildflowers and the soft murmur of distant rivers. He was the child of ancient nobility, with a lineage that echoed the hush of centuries past. But Henri's birth brought not only the glow of privilege, but also the shadow of fragile bones and frail limbs. From the start he was a gentle soul, small and delicate in a world that expected strength. As a boy he wandered the green fields of Albi, the sun warm on his pale skin. He watched the soft sway of poppies in the wind, the gentle curve of the river's embrace. But his body was fragile, his bones breaking and healing in quiet pain. By the time he was a young man he'd stopped growing, his legs bowed and short beneath a torso that carried the weight of his noble heritage and his restless spirit. His family's grand chateau was filled with echoes of laughter and the rustle of silken gowns, but Henri found solace not in the halls of nobility, but in the hush of the drawing-room, the soft scratch of charcoal against paper. His mother's gentle presence was a balm for his quiet soul. She nurtured his love for art, encouraged his tender sketches of horses and figures, and believed in the light she saw in his gentle eyes. When Henri left Albi for Paris, the city of dreams welcomed him with a soft sigh. Paris in the 1880s was a swirl of gaslight and laughter, the city's heart beating to the rhythm of cabarets and cafes. Henri's frail body might have kept him from the whirl of the dance, but his soul was lit with the colours of that bright world. He found his place in Montmartre, a hill alive with artists and dreamers, where the night was lit by laughter and the glow of flickering lamps. In those early years, Henri studied with the masters, his brush learning the gentle curve of a dancer's leg, the soft mystery of a woman's gaze. But soon he turned away from the polite traditions of the academy and found his own voice, a voice that sang in the flickering light of the Moulin Rouge, in the hush of a cabaret dressing-room. His rise to fame was quiet and sure, like the gentle stroke of a brush on canvas. He painted the world of Montmartre as no one else had, the dancers' bright skirts swirling in a blur of red and gold, the hush of a tired singer's sigh at dawn, the quiet longing in a courtesan's dark eyes. His paintings were not gentle dreams of grandeur, but tender glimpses of the lives that pulsed in the shadows of the city's bright heart. There was an early promise in Henri's work, a tenderness that captured the quiet dignity of the performers he loved. In the hush of the theatre, he sketched the gentle curve of a woman's back as she pinned a flower in her hair. In the hush of a smoky bar, he painted the soft weariness of a dancer's face, the brief bright sparkle of laughter that vanished in the hush of morning light. But as the years passed, there was a turning point, a slow, quiet shift in Henri's gentle soul. The bright laughter of Montmartre became a brittle song, the soft glow of the gaslights a haze that blurred the lines between dream and despair. The absinthe that once brought a gentle blur to the world became a nightly companion, its bitter taste a soft poison that quieted the ache in his bones and the hush of his lonely heart. He painted on, his hands steady even as his soul grew weary. The women of Montmartre, Jane Avril, Yvette Gilbert, became his muses, their laughter and sorrow captured in quick, sure strokes. He saw them not as shadows of desire, but as real, breathing souls, their fragility and quiet strength glowing in the hush of his colours. Yet in the quiet of night, Henri's own loneliness grew. The world of cabarets and bright laughter was a fleeting dream, a glittering mask that fell away in the hush of dawn. His health waned, his bones aching beneath the soft hush of his weary heart. The absinthe numbed the ache, but it could not quiet the gentle longing for something deeper, a love he felt in every stroke of his brush, a home he found only in the hush of paint and canvas. When Henri died in 1901, at the gentle age of 36, the cabaret lights of Montmartre flickered in quiet tribute. The dancers paused, the music stilled for breath, as if the city itself mourned the gentle soul who had given it life in paint and line. His mother, who had always seen the light in his tender eyes, held his hand in those final hours, a quiet presence of love that carried him gently into the hush of forever. Tonight, as you sink into the warm embrace of sleep, let Henri's world wrap you in its gentle glow. Picture the soft flicker of gaslight on velvet curtains, the gentle sigh of a singer's lullaby drifting through the night air. Imagine the hush of a painter's studio, the soft scratch of charcoal on paper, the quiet murmur of dreams taking shape beneath the tender touch of a brush. Feel the warm glow of Montmartre's cabarets, the laughter of dancers swirling like bright ribbons in the soft hush of the night. Let the gentle music of a piano drift through your mind, each note a promise of quiet wonder, each chord a gentle sigh that carries you deeper into dreams. In the quiet heart of the night, let Henry's soft lines and gentle colours be your guide. Let each brush stroke be a lullaby, each swirl of colour a gentle promise that, in the world of dreams, even the smallest soul can shine bright as the stars. Drift now, dear dreamer, into the hush of Henri's world, a world of laughter and longing, of bright lights and quiet shadows. As you close your eyes tonight, let Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec's gentle vision carry you softly into sleep. In the hush of the night, let the cabaret songs and tender glances cradle you in their quiet beauty. Sleep well, dear traveller. May your dreams be lit by the gentle glow of Montmartre's lights, and may your heart find comfort in the hush of Henri's world. Sweet dreams. Gustav Klimt, the dreamer of golden patterns and embrace. Gustav Klimt was born in 1862 in the quiet outskirts of Vienna, where the air was soft with the promise of spring and the gentle hush of the Danube River flowing nearby. His father was a gold engraver, his mother a lover of music and quiet beauty. In the hush of their home, young Gustav's eyes learned to see the world in shimmering gold and tender curves, his gentle heart absorbing every note of music and every glimmer of light. As a boy, Gustav was shy and soft-spoken, but his mind was alive with colour and pattern. He would sit for hours sketching the world around him, the flicker of candlelight on polished wood, the hush of his mother's voice singing lullabies. In the quiet corners of his childhood, he found the first glimmers of the patterns that would one day become his signature, a world of swirling shapes and gentle embrace. He studied art in the grand halls of Vienna's School of Arts and Crafts, where he learned the delicate precision of line and form. But even as he mastered the classical techniques, there was always a part of Gustav that longed for something more, a shimmer of mystery, a quiet music that hummed beneath the strict lines of academic art. When he rose to fame, it was with gentle surety, his art speaking softly but powerfully. He was the co-founder of the Vienna Secession, a group of artists who wanted to break free from the cold traditions of the past and let beauty shine in every corner of life. His early work showed a promise of gentle grandeur, murals that glowed with myth and light, portraits that whispered of dreams and longing. Yet there was a turning point in Gustav's life, a moment when his art turned inward and bloomed into something rich and golden. His father's work as an engraver had taught him the quiet power of gold, and Gustav carried that memory into his own art. He began to see not just colour, but light itself, a world where every line and swirl could hold the shimmer of eternity. His most famous works, The Kiss, portrait of Adele Bloch-Bauer the Frere, were born from this moment of golden revelation. In The Kiss, two lovers are wrapped in a tender embrace, their forms glowing with gold leaf, each swirl and curve a gentle promise of unity and quiet joy. The painting was more than just an image. It was a hush of devotion, a gentle breath of intimacy that seemed to cradle the viewer in a world of dreams. But even as he painted these tender visions, Gustav's soul was a quiet, restless thing. He was known for his reclusive ways, preferring the soft hush of his studio to the bright chatter of society. In the world outside, Vienna bustled with the elegance of the Belle Epoque, gilded carriages, glittering salons. But Gustav found his comfort in the quiet glow of his golden canvases, in the hush of a model's gaze, in the silent music of a line drawn in gold. He painted women as if they were dreams, soft, luminous beings wrapped in golden patterns, their eyes holding the hush of secrets and the quiet strength of mystery. His portraits of Adele Bloch-Bauer, with her gaze soft yet unyielding, spoke of a world where beauty was not just seen but felt, a world where every swirl of pattern was a gentle song, every breath of gold a quiet sigh of longing. Yet even in the shimmering glow of his art there were whispers of sorrow. Gustav lost his brother Ernst, a wound that left a quiet ache in his tender soul. In the hush of night, he would remember their childhood laughter, the soft murmur of the Danube, the warm glow of family. He painted on, each line a gentle balm for the ache of memory, each swirl of gold a quiet prayer for comfort. As his fame grew, so did the controversy. Some called his art too sensual, too intimate. But Gustav never wavered. He painted not for the applause of the world, but for the hush of beauty that lived within him. His golden visions were his gentle rebellion, a soft defiance against the cold grey of the city, a tender promise that, in the world of dreams, there was always warmth and light. When illness came for Gustav in 1918, he faced it with the quiet dignity that had always marked his life. In the final hush of his days, he found comfort in the soft glow of his studio, the hush of golden patterns that wrapped his soul in gentle embrace. His last breath was a sigh of light, a soft surrender to the world of dreams he had painted so tenderly. Tonight, as you drift into the warm quiet of sleep, let Gustav's golden world cradle you in its shimmering embrace. Picture the hush of his studio, the soft gleam of gold leaf catching the flicker of candlelight. Feel the gentle weight of a silken robe against your skin, the whisper of a brushstroke in the quiet hush of the night. In the soft glow of your dreams, let the patterns of Gustav's art wrap around you like a lullaby. Imagine the gentle swirl of golden spirals, the tender curves that cradle your thoughts in their warm embrace. Let each line be a sigh, each shimmer of gold a soft promise of peace and rest. Feel the hush of Vienna's quiet nights, the soft murmur of the Danube flowing beyond the city's walls. Let the gentle music of the waltz drift through your mind, a quiet dance of memory and dream, a tender promise of comfort that carries you deeper into sleep. Gustav's golden world was a promise to all who dreamed, a world where even the smallest soul could glow bright as the stars, where even the quietest sigh could be wrapped in warmth and light. Let his gentle vision be your guide tonight, dear dreamer. Let his tender embrace cradle your heart in the hush of night. As you close your eyes, feel the quiet shimmer of Gustav Klimt's golden patterns wrap around you. In the soft glow of your dreams, let the hush of his art be a lullaby, each swirl of colour a gentle breath of peace. Sleep well, dear traveller. May your dreams be soft as gold leaf, and may your heart rest easy in the quiet embrace of Gustav's world. Sweet dreams. Egon Schiele, the intense painter of fragile souls. Egon Schiele was born in 1890 in a small Austrian town under the soft hush of a winter sky. He was the third child of a railway clerk and a gentle mother who saw in her son's eyes the flicker of something tender, something different. In the quiet warmth of his childhood home, Egon learned to watch the world with a keen, searching gaze, a gaze that would one day look deeper than most dared to. As a child he was quiet and intense, his small fingers forever clutching a pencil or brush, sketching the world as he felt it, not as it was. The soft murmur of trains, the gentle hush of evening falling over the rails, these sounds became the lullabies of his childhood. In their gentle rhythm, Egon found the heartbeat of his dreams. When he was just a boy, tragedy touched him. His father died of illness, leaving a silence in the house that only art could fill. In that quiet, Egon's gaze grew sharper, his heart more determined. He turned to his sketchbooks, filling them with lines and shapes that spoke of a world beyond childhood, a world of tender souls and searching hearts. He studied at the Academy of Fine Arts in Vienna, a city alive with music and shimmering light, but also a place where tradition could weigh heavy. Egon, with his restless heart and searching eyes, soon felt confined by the Academy's strict lessons. He wanted to paint not the polished world of the salons, but the fragile truths that pulsed beneath the skin, bodies curved with longing, faces lit by the soft glow of vulnerability. It was in this search that Aegon's true rise began. He found companionship in Gustav Klimt, who saw in the young artist a kindred spirit, a quiet fire waiting to glow. Klimt guided him, gently opening doors to a world of patrons and possibilities, yet always leaving space for Aegon to find his own voice. And find it he did, in portraits that glowed not with gold but with the raw intensity of human emotion. In those early years there was a promise of brilliance, a quiet excitement in the city as Aegon's art began to whisper of things both tender and true. He painted friends and lovers, their eyes wide and haunted, their limbs delicate as dreams. His lines were sharp yet filled with a kind of gentle ache, a hush of longing that spoke to anyone who had ever felt the weight of being seen. Yet even as his work bloomed with promise, there was a turning point, an ache in his own heart that would shape the soul of his art. Aegon fell deeply in love with Wally Newsill, a gentle, loyal muse whose soft eyes and patient smile became the quiet centre of his storm. In her, he found both comfort and inspiration, a partner whose presence wrapped around his fragile spirit like a soft blanket on a winter night. But love, for Aegon, was never simple. His restless soul yearned for more, for the quiet music of every tender curve, every flicker of vulnerability. His art grew bolder, his portraits more daring, figures stripped of pretense, wrapped in nothing but the gentle truth of their own skin. Some called it scandalous, but Aegon saw only honesty, the tender hush of souls laid bare in the soft light of his studio. It was this very intensity that drew both admiration and scandal. In a world that preferred plight illusions, Aegon painted what was real, the gentle ache of loneliness, the quiet shiver of desire. His art was a soft confession, a quiet embrace of all that made us fragile and all that made us whole. In the height of his creativity, his brush moved with the quiet certainty of a heart that had seen both the beauty and the ache of the world. Yet even as his art blossomed, the world around him began to crumble. War loomed on the horizon, and with it came the hush of uncertainty, the quiet fear that swept through the streets of Vienna. In 1918, illness spread like a dark whisper through the city, first taking Wally, then creeping closer to Aegon. In those final, quiet days, his art became even more tender, his lines even more filled with the hush of memory and love. He painted his wife, Edith, her eyes soft with the gentle weight of love and farewell. He painted himself, his gaze holding the quiet knowledge of a soul ready to slip into the soft glow of dreams. As the fever took hold, Aegon's final breath was a whisper of all the beauty he had seen, all the gentle ache he'd captured in line and colour. He was just 28, his life a brief flicker of intensity, but in that flicker he left a legacy that would glow in the hush of art history forever. Tonight, as you let your thoughts drift soft and slow, picture the tender world of Aegon Schiele. Imagine the quiet hush of his studio, the soft rustle of paper, the gentle glow of lamplight. Feel the hush of his brush against the canvas, the tender sigh of each line that spoke of longing and comfort, of souls laid bare. Let the gentle ache of his art soothe you. Picture the soft curve of a lover's neck, the quiet embrace of a figure lost in thought. In those lines find your own breath slowing, your own heart softening to the gentle hush of sleep. Let Aegon's world wrap around you tonight, a world where every flicker of vulnerability is a promise of tenderness, where every quiet sigh is a note in the lullaby of the night. Feel the hush of his lines, the soft glow of his colours, and let them cradle you into dreams. As you drift deeper, know that Aegon's art was a promise, a tender reminder that even the most fragile souls glow with a quiet light, a shimmer of beauty in the hush of night. Let that light guide you into rest, dear dreamer, into the soft comfort of a world where every breath is a tender sigh of peace. As you close your eyes, feel the warmth of Egon's vision wrap around you like a soft blanket. Let his gentle portraits, filled with both ache and love, be a lullaby for your soul. Sleep well, dear traveller. May your dreams be gentle, your heart tender, and your rest as soft as the hush of Egon's lines. Sweet dreams. Pablo Picasso, the restless genius, always reinventing. Pablo Picasso was born in the quiet warmth of Malaga, Spain, in 1881, under a sky so blue it felt like the colour of dreams. His father, an art teacher and gentle man, saw in Pablo a flicker of something bright and endless. From cradle, Pablo's fingers itched for a pencil, for a brush, for the soft music of creation. Before he could even write his name, he was drawing, tracing the world as he saw it, not as it was. As a child, Pablo was tender and intense, his gaze forever searching for the shapes that hid in the quiet corners of the world. His father watched with pride, offering gentle guidance as Pablo's young hands found their first lines and strokes. In the soft glow of those early evenings, father and son worked side by side, whispers of paint on canvas, a hush of dreams taking shape. But even as a boy, Pablo was never content to linger in any one place for long. His heart beat with restless curiosity, a quiet ache for more. The family moved often, Malaga to A Coruña, to Barcelona, to Madrid, each new city a fresh page, each new landscape a gentle invitation to dream in different colours. In Barcelona, Pablo found kindred spirits, artists and poets who spoke the language of creation, their voices weaving a soft melody of possibility that sang him to sleep each night. At just 14, he entered the School of Fine Arts in Barcelona, his talent already shimmering like moonlight on water. His early works glowed with careful light, a young painter still echoing the traditions of those who came before. But even then, a quiet fire burned in him, a promise of something more, something bold and bright and endlessly new. In Madrid, Pablo's paintings grew more daring, his brush searching for ways to capture the music of the world as he felt it. But he did not linger there long. The city's formal halls felt stifling, the weight of tradition pressing too close. He returned to Barcelona, a place of warmth and laughter, where the nights hummed with the soft music of cafes and the gentle glow of shared dreams. It was here, in these early years, that Pablo's true rise began. He painted portraits of friends and strangers, their eyes wide with stories, their bodies soft with the quiet ache of life. He painted the poor and the lonely, the gentle souls who moved like shadows through the city's winding streets. His blue period had begun, a gentle melancholy hush that wrapped around each canvas like a soft sigh, each figure a tender lullaby of sorrow and longing. For a while his art was bathed in that soft, quiet blue, an endless dusk that mirrored the hush of the world he saw. Then a warm light began to flicker in his work. Love and laughter crept into his lines, the gentle glow of friendship and tender evenings in Montmartre. The rose period was born, a dawn of soft pinks and warm hues that promised the world could be gentle too. But Pablo was never one to stand still. In the gentle hush of his studio, he began to see the world not in soft lines, but in shards and fragments. Cubism unfolded under his brush, a restless new vision that captured the many angles of a single moment, the many breaths of a single heart. In this quiet revolution, Pablo found freedom, each canvas a doorway to reinvention, each shape a gentle promise that the world was never just one thing. This turning point was not without its own ache. The world watched, some in awe, some in confusion, as Pablo's art moved away from what was familiar. But he did not waver. In the quiet of his nights he dreamed in shapes and shadows, in lines that whispered of both the old and the new, and in these dreams he painted the truth of what it meant to be alive, tender, fractured, forever shifting. As the years passed, Pablo's art became a journey without end. He was never content to rest on any one style, any one voice. Like the restless hum of a summer breeze, he moved from cubism to neoclassicism, from surrealism to something entirely his own. He painted lovers and warriors, mothers and musicians. He painted the quiet ache of longing and the soft joy of laughter, each brushstroke a gentle breath of possibility. But even as he danced between styles, the world around him changed. War swept across Europe like a dark sigh, and Pablo felt its weight in every corner of his soul. In his quiet studio, he painted Guernica, a canvas as vast and haunting as the hush of a midnight sky, a gentle roar of sorrow and defiance. In black and white, he captured the silent screams of a world in pain, each figure a whisper of hope and heartbreak. Though his work was filled with power and defiance, Pablo never lost the tender hush of wonder that first guided his hand as a boy. Even in his later years, his art held the quiet music of reinvention, a soft promise that creation was its own kind of lullaby, a comfort for restless hearts. He lived to see his name become legend, his art a gentle echo in the halls of history. Yet for Pablo, each day was just another beginning, another chance to find something new in the quiet hush of his studio. In the end, he left the world not with finality, but with a promise, a soft glow of lines and colours that would never truly fade. Tonight, as you lie in the gentle hush of your room, imagine Pablo at work, his brush moving in the soft glow of lamplight, the quiet music of reinvention humming in the stillness. Let his restless spirit wrap around you, not as a storm, but as a gentle breeze, forever shifting, forever whispering that there is always something new to dream. Let his art cradle you tonight, dear dreamer. Let the soft shapes of cubism, the tender lines of his portraits, and the quiet power of his colours lull you into a gentle rest. Feel the warmth of his endless curiosity, the tender ache of his ever-searching heart. As your breath grows slow and deep, remember that Pablo's greatest gift was not just his art, but the hush of possibility he left behind, a quiet song that says every day, every dream is a chance to begin again. Sleep well, dear traveller. May your dreams tonight be as endless as the restless heart of Pablo Picasso, and as gentle as the hush of a brush on canvas. Sweet dreams.